Well, good morning, you gardeners. Good morning, Adam.
Hi, Bex. How you doing?
Adam's back in the potting shed. Yay! It's nice to have you back.
Yeah, I'm out the mothballs for a bit. Yeah. But no.
And got a fantastic shirt on today. I haven't seen this one before.
Usual thing, usual flowery shirt.
I
You know me,
love it.
I do like my flowery shirts.
Adam always comes in a nice flowery shirt. It puts me to shame, you do.
No, you always look gorgeous.
Shush.
This
Right.
lady's been going to the gym, and you can tell, can't you?
My arms are absolutely killing
She
me
looks
today.
amazing.
I've overdone it a little bit. But good morning to you. Thank you so much. I checked the YouTube chat this morning already. I can see that you're all there, ready and waiting. So thanks for coming in and joining us. Elaine and Neil, you're talking to us this morning. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on the YouGarden website as well. And we've got loads of things to show them, haven't we?
We have, because you might think sometimes, second week of October, you might think, oh, it's going to tail off a bit. There's not much to talk about now. Oh my goodness me! And so much evergreen stuff I've noticed today, Bex, as well, which is great. For the winter time.
Well, I remember last time you were in the potting shed, we were very much talking about autumn probably being one of the most important times in the gardening calendar, because there's lots of jobs we need to do, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, historically, back in Victorian times, Edwardian times, that was the start of the gardening year, because it's a fantastic time of year to plant things. The soil is as warm as it's going to be. The plants are still relatively active, so you plant the plants now, they get their roots into the ground, they get established before next spring, and they can zoom away much quicker next spring, because they don't have to think about two things, only one, which is to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Upwards.
So we've got perennial plants for you. Absolutely perfect time to get your perennials in the ground so they can get those root structures. We've got an amazing offer for you on spring bulbs and new ones for you. I know we've done it for the last couple of weeks. It's a mix and match. Buy 3, get one of them free, basically. But we've got new offers for you on that as well. So we've got perennials, we've got our spring bulbs, and these are all the jobs we need to be doing right now in our gardens. Let's just cover off some of that boring stuff for you, shall we? First of all, it is to get your order to over £40. That is the way that you're going to get free postage on your order. Under £40, it's just the one postage cost of £6.99. So even if you've got 3 or 4 items in your basket and they've all got postage attached, you'll only pay that one postage cost. Few items that have got free postage on them as well, so bear that in mind. But it's really good if you can get your order to over 40 to get that free postage. We also have a free gift available for you. We've kept this going for the whole of the time we've been bringing you YGTV, which is over a year now. We're so pleased to keep doing that. And this free gift is a real special one.
It is. I mean, we did have this as a free gift earlier in the year, and you absolutely loved it, because it is one of the most, I think, the most stunning peony you can ever grow. It's got everything, isn't it? Even fragrance.
Well, Sarah Bernhardt, she was a famous French actress, wasn't she? And she was known for her stunning beauty, absolutely renowned for it. So it's been very aptly named, because this is a gorgeous, gorgeous peony. We are just starting to head into bare root season as well, aren't we? So this is the perfect time to get hold of those bare roots and get them planted in the ground. This is absolutely free with every single purchase that you make. So all you have to do is enter that offer code that you can see on screen, YGTV 4124, and then next year you will start to see that growth coming through. Hopefully you'll get flowers as well.
Yeah,
obviously it takes a little bit of time to establish.
But I mean, look at this one. Look
Shooting,
at that
isn't
gorgeous bud on there already. So, get that straight in the garden. But if you do pop it straight in the garden, just put a stick next to it so you know where it is next spring, or start it off in a pot.
It is important to do. I've done it myself in the past, where I've planted a bare root, forgotten it's there, and then I've ended up digging it up and then thrown it away because I think it's just some bit of root that I need to throw away.
Don't you?
So you need to mark where it is.
Yeah.
I know it looks very ugly, but that ugly thing is going to turn into this beautiful thing. And over, the next couple of years, it'll really get established and you'll get loads of flowers.
Yeah, stunning flowers, stunning fragrance. Yeah, it's definitely, for me personally, it's my most favourite peony.
Oh, there you go. And it's absolutely free with every single purchase. So if you want to get multiples of them, place multiple orders. We do have a little bit of an ericaceous theme going on for you today. We've got our ericaceous compost down there as well. So if you do need ericaceous compost, and you will need it for a few of the plants that we're bringing you today, then do add that into the basket. I think Stu was just telling me it's free postage on that one because it's one of our bagged products. So free postage on the ericaceous. Maybe that is the way that you're going to get a few of that free gift. Maybe you buy a bag of the ericaceous, put the code in, you'll get that Sarah Bernhardt peony, and then come back and place another order, put the code in, and you'll get another Sarah Bernhardt peony as well. But we're going to start off with the Camellia Yuletide, a really fantastic time of year to get this. Obviously, it's called Yuletide for a reason, isn't it?
It is, because it starts flowering sometimes just before or or around Christmas, and it'll keep going right up until sort of mid to late winter.
Amazing.
And I've got this in my own garden. I've got one in my garden.
Got one of these?
Yeah, I've got one of these. And
Show you that flower.
what I like about it is, do you remember Bex early in the season? Was it Femme Fatale?
Yeah, of course I remember Femme Fatale.
So we had.
It's one of my favourites.
Yeah, we had a camellia early in the year called Femme Fatale, which had these huge, great big, super double flowers, and that was absolutely amazing at one end of the scale. But what is gorgeous about this at the other end of the scale is its pure simplicity and innocence of the flower. Look at that. I mean, that is so stunning, isn't it?
It really is, and I really like the sort of luscious green foliage that you've got there, because you get those beautiful red flowers, little yellow centres in there as well, which really sort of highlight the red. But it's against that perfect backdrop of the glossy green leaves that really make this stand out.
An evergreen, you know, all the year through. So even when it's not flowering, you've got these lovely sort of glossy green leaves. And of course, camellia is the same family as we get tea from. I mean, you know, tea is a camellia plant. This will flower for a good 2 or 3 months, and when the first little flowers come out, they just look so gorgeous because they flower at that time of year when there's not much other flower colour around. So they really do stand out, and especially in the lower light levels in the winter as well. They just pop. I mean, if you've got a garden where you've already got rhododendrons and azaleas and all those kind of things growing in the ground and flourishing and being quite happy, you can plant that straight in the ground with all those kind of plants. But if you haven't got an acid soil, you can grow these, and they make a fantastic pot plant. They do brilliant in pots.
How big are they going to get then?
Well, mine's probably about 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
And it's only got to about 1 metre or so tall.
Okay, so it's slow growing.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's slow growing, it's compact, it's always got lots and lots of foliage. And you can see on this one here, where are they? Yeah, we go, look,
Yeah,
buds.
I was just checking that out. Actually, there are loads of buds appearing on here. When you really start to pay attention, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I could keep going. There's loads and loads of buds on there. So even getting this one home today, you're going to get flowers on this season.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to get flowers. So just one thing I'm going to be a bit controversial about. It says on the YouGarden website about sometimes bringing this in for a couple of weeks over the Christmas period and then putting it back out again. I wouldn't do that personally.
Okay.
I would leave it outside because I feel if you to suddenly bring it in from the cold and then brought it indoors, it might just drop some of the other buds. So I will just leave it outside.
It's hardy. It's winter hardy.
Crazy hardy. Camellias are bone hardy. And just one other quick tip as well. Sort of mid to late summer, always make sure you keep it really well watered, because that's when it's starting to form the buds. And because if you let it dry out that time, it won't form flower buds for the winter time.
For the winter time. Okay, so really important if you are going to keep it in a pot, because obviously anything kept in a pot just needs to be, you need to keep an eye on it as far as the watering levels are concerned. Amazing saving on here, £5 saving if you use that code YGTV 4124. A really well-established plant. This isn't like a smaller one that you're going to have to wait maybe a little bit of time for it to get established. This one is already fantastically established. He can't help himself. He definitely needs to show you the roots, and it's important.
Look at this! Wow!
I mean, it's something that, if you ever go to a garden centre and you're buying plants from a garden centre, you should be taking them out of the pot to have a look.
Look how established that is,
But that's
Bex.
why we try to do it here, so that you can see the quality of what you're receiving.
And multi-branched as well. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 branches on this. The value on this is incredible. I mean, I can see some garden centres charging at least $29.99, if not $34.99 for that plant. Especially when it starts flowering. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, do you know? I thought that was a £5 saving. I really need to start wearing my glasses, don't I? It's a £15 saving. It is normally $34.99, but just $19.99 today if you use that code YGTV4124. But remember, if you are a member of our YouGarden discount club, which is really important, you'll get an extra 10% saving. So it'll be £17.99. And a lot of you will have joined the club when we first started doing these shows. And we first started back in August last year. So I know a lot of you have got that £20 worth of YouGarden discount vouchers to use. I received mine just a few weeks ago. I've spent one of £5 at the moment. I've got another 3 £5 vouchers to use, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. So if you're going to go for that, you're part of our club. You can get this down to £12.99.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That's just phenomenal.
That's a great price.
Is there any way, I'm not technical, is there any way kind of on the website you can see on a cumulative basis how much you've saved over a period of time?
I know you can go in and you can look at your orders, so you can go in, you can see your order history. I don't know if that adds that up in a cumulative way, but you can definitely go back and have a look. We should definitely add that in though, so people can see it if it's not there.
Because at the end of the year, can you imagine?
It's amazing to see how much you've saved.
You probably got yourself, well, depending on how much you spend, but you could end up getting £200 or £300 worth more plants.
Sean said that last week, just
than
with
if he
one
hadn't.
order.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, do grab hold of that and maybe use one of those £5 vouchers to get that one as well. Oh, you're right, Stu. Very good. Stu's just reminded us it's actually World Mental Health Day today. So it's probably a really good thing that we could start talking about here, because it's certainly a reason that I've gone out into the garden. It really helps me to sort of calm, deal with any anxieties or stress that's going on. And it's a really good thing for our mental health, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, we have just got so far away from our roots, haven't we? Literally. I mean, you go back, 1,000 years or so, we were out there, weren't we? We were in the wild. We were a part of the wild. It was, it was part of us. We were part of it, and now we're insulated in our plastic, glass, concrete, tarmac kind of little, towers, separated from the outside world, and it's not doing us any favours. It's not doing us any good.
Yeah.
And when we get outside again, when we reconnect with the birds, with the plants, with nature, with our gardens, suddenly we're finding that inner happiness again.
Absolutely.
We're finding that peace, and that's what gardening does.
It certainly makes a big difference to me if I'm ever feeling a bit down, a bit stressed, a bit, anxious. Go outside, spend a little bit of time in the garden. It might only be 5 minutes, it might be 5 hours, but it really makes a difference.
Yeah, I can remember going on holiday once, end of November in Scotland, and you know what? I hate autumn. I can't stand it. I get the SAD really bad. But even though it was late November and it was in Scotland, because I was just out in this incredible countryside, and it was that really foggy, kind of claggy, kind of drink weather.
Yeah.
I come home, I was elated. I just had the best day of my life. Loved it. Just felt,
we're
incredible.
giving you reasons to go outside, aren't we? By watching us here, by shopping with us, we are giving you those reasons to get outside and maybe feel a little bit better. All right, so that one is our Camellia Yuletide. Do grab hold of that one. It's a great price on that one. We've got a little bit of a change here. We've got a lot of outdoor plants, but we're bringing you an indoor plant right now. It's been a super popular one for us. I will point out, and William was telling me this, I don't know if William's watching from the YouGarden offices, I get the impression that we're not going to be stocking these for much longer. We've got some left, don't worry, they're not going to sell out today, but I don't think we're going to be stocking them, certainly not for a little while. So once this batch of stock has gone, we won't be getting any more for a while. So if you've been looking at the Venus flytrap and you've thought, yeah, I fancy one of those, that's quite fun, that's a bit unusual, then now is the time to grab hold of it. Let me just move that plant out of the way so you can get in there, Stu.
Is it time to snap it up, do you think?
Time to snap it up, absolutely. This is what I call the snappy snap. It is the Venus flytrap. It is a carnivorous plant. It will feed itself.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it will just catch a fly or any flying insect, basically, that's big enough. And once it lands in the middle of those kind of very unusual, there we go. You just sort of, it needs to touch at least one or two of those little spines before it'll click shut. And then there you go. Any little fly or anything caught in there is imprisoned in there. Then it secretes these enzymes, these digestive juices, and over about 10 to 12 days, it will gradually suck all those lovely juices out of that fly and absorb it into the plant. And the reason the plant does this is because where they grow naturally, they grow on very boggy soil that is hugely depleted of minerals. And things that plants need. So because it can't get what it needs from the ground, it's become carnivorous. It's started to eat meat.
So this one's got flowers on it. And I know I get this question a lot when I'm doing various shows on this. People say, but should I keep the flowers on?
Well, yeah, we've been having a bit of discussion about this, Bex, haven't we? And what we generally say is take the flowers off of your plant. When they grow outside in their natural environment, because they originate from the swamps in states, they're grown in their perfect conditions there, so they will flower and that will be fine. But sometimes when we grow them indoors here, because they're not in their ultimate perfect environment, allowing them to flower might stress the plant a little bit more than it needs to be, because it's trying to grow traps and it's trying to flower at the same time. So if you see the flower stems emerging, take them off, remove them as low down as possible before they emerge, and then the plant can concentrate on growing those traps, because that's really what you're interested in.
You're rediverting the energy, aren't you? Rediverting the energy to make sure that the plant will survive. You know, the traps are what will help it to survive, because that's what's going to feed it. So I know we've got flowers on ours, but when you get yours home, if it's got flowers on or it starts to send up flower shoots, do chop those ones off. Loves to be in a nice sunny spot, loves water, so put it in a bowl or a dish or a pot cover with water in there. Always keep water in there through the spring and summer. In the autumn and winter, you reduce it down a little bit. Let it dry out and then put water back in, so it just doesn't need as much. Make sure it's rainwater as well. It does not like our tap water.
Yeah, because it's another ericaceous plant. Again, it grows in very acid conditions. So, you know, where I'm in Norfolk, we've got really hard, limey water. It'd hate that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, always use rainwater. Or I guess you could use distilled water, couldn't you?
Yeah, distilled water. But a few people ask me, can I use bottled water? Yeah, you can. It doesn't have all those chemicals and things in that will damage it. So there are options for you, but collect some rainwater if you can. Who was in the chat, Stu? Roger, good morning. Hello, Dingo. Good morning, Eleanor. Hello to Angela, and hello to George, and of course Neil and Elaine as well. Thanks for your company. We will check the chat. If you do want to send us any emails, if you want to send us any pictures of what's going on in your garden at the moment, any deliveries you might have received recently, then you can send us emails. It is ygtv@yougarden.com. I've got the iPad over there, so we'll show any pictures that you send through. Let's move on, because we're still in our ericaceous theme, and we've got the beautiful rhododendron collection here, and this is not a choice. You will actually get all three of these. You do, yeah. You get three of these, three different colours. These are evergreen azaleas as well. So, and again, that's a bit of a theme today, Bex. Looking around, we've got so many evergreens, haven't we? Which we're going to be talking about today, which is great, isn't it? Because it means in the winter time you're not looking at bare sticks. You're getting interest still from foliage. But I tell you what, come the spring, you don't see the foliage on these. No, look at that.
There is so much flower on these that the foliage just disappears for a couple of weeks. I mean, this is exactly what they will do.
Yeah.
Extraordinary plants, azaleas. I mean, they're tough as well, really, really frost resistant, because these originate from sort of Japan, parts of Japan that have really, really cold winters, and quite often things like rhodies and azaleas originate from quite high up areas as well, where they get very, very cold winters. So these are bone hardy. These will have our lifetime guarantee, our winter hardy guarantee that you'll see, the little snowflake symbol. And for a good 4 to 6 weeks in spring, probably sort of April, May, even the end of May into early June, you will just get this absolute profusion of flower that looks magnificent. It's a really good time, actually, as well, as far as planting and having successional colour going on in your garden, because I find that the time that rhododendrons, azaleas, when they're flowering, it's kind of when you've had the major spring bulb thing happen. Yeah. And it's just before all the, amazing summer flower things start to happen. So it's that nice sort of transitional one that takes you through the spring bulbs and into the summer. Yes, like a little colour bridge, isn't it? Yeah. Between, kind of, as you say, the spring bulbs and all the summer stuff kicking in. And I always remember, she's gone now, bless her soul, but I used to look after a garden for a lady called Mrs. Ambrose in a place called Buckhurst Hill years ago, and she used to have the most incredible amounts of rhododendrons and azaleas. And I always remember sort of April, May, early June time when I used to drive into her drive, and it was like a horseshoe all the way round of all these multicoloured rhodies and azaleas. I absolutely adored going there that time of year because they were so colourful. And the great thing is, in fact, they're actually quite outrageous. I mean, some people might even say vulgar, but I don't care, because that time of year, when you've gone for a British winter and you've had grey, rain, gloom, and you suddenly get these explosions, these carpets of colour, they are so mood-lifting, aren't they? Absolutely. Quite slow growing as well, so not ones that are going to take over any borders that you might put them in. And of course, they're small enough for you to be able to grow in pots as well if you want to. Can I just point out that price, first of all? You are saving £20. So this is basically like getting getting two for free. You're buying one and getting two free here. Now, Stu's just asking, do we know what colour each one is? I mean, they're labelled. I can't necessarily tell just by looking at the plant. I can see buds forming, though. That one's got a bud coming up there. But that one is pink. So we've got the... we've got blouse pink, haven't we? Pink. We've got geisha red and geisha white.
And that one is the geisha red. And that one there, by process of elimination, let me just check. Yes, that one is the geisha white. So you do know which colour is which when you get them home. If you're doing any particular, colour scheme when you're planting, you do know which one is which, basically.
And if you've got a really, really big pot,
you could put all three in.
You could put all three in one pot, couldn't you?
That would be really nice. And because it's the red, the pink and the white, they'll grow really nicely together,
look good,
won't
wouldn't
they? Do remember to get hold of your ericaceous compost if you need some of that as well, particularly if you're planting these into pots, then you're going to need that ericaceous. Let's go ericaceous. You will need a bag of that ericaceous compost. Obviously, depending on the size of the pot, you might need 1 or 2 of those. It does have free postage on this one as well, so you can just order it on its own in order to get multiples of your free gift. It's a 60-litre bag, so just work out how much you need of that. Next, we've got another pack of 3 here, which is our Japanese anemone collection. And this is a beautiful collection because you've got the red, the pink and the white here as well, which is marrying quite nicely with the rhododendron colours.
These are one of my most popular herbaceous perennials. I've got loads of these in my garden. In fact, when I was driving in today, I still saw some flowering just about in people's gardens. There were some white ones with some flowers still.
Yeah, they're quite good because they are slightly later flowering, aren't they?
Yeah, generally they start flowering sort of July time, and then they go right through July, August, September, October, even into early November sometimes, if the weather's right for them.
And they get quite tall as well, don't they?
Yeah, about a metre. They'll get to about a metre, 1.2 metres tall. They form, they spread as well. What they do is they send out little runners under the soil, and gradually they form sort of larger and larger clumps. What some people do actually as well, some people Chelsea chop them. So if you don't want them to be 1.2 metres tall, what some people do is round about Chelsea flower show time, they cut them down by about a half from the size they are, and then they reshoot. But they will flower at a shorter height than if you just left them to grow normally. Yeah. So it slightly delays the flower time, but if say you're in a really windy place or something like that, it just makes them a bit more stout and a little less susceptible to the wind. But I've found with my ones in my garden, they get to about a metre, perhaps even a little bit taller than that. And even when it is windy and they get wet, initially they flop over, and then as soon as it dries out,
right back up again.
Yeah, right back up again. They never get floored. They never just get blown right over onto the ground. But these are really, really hardy, super tough, come back year after year after year, months of colour, easy to grow, and a really fantastic perennial for probably the middle to the back of the border. Good.
Sorry, little cough still from that horrible cold that I had. So we've still got the same deal going on with this one as we've got with the rhododendrons, which is like a buy one and get 2 absolutely free. So you could get both of these collections for under £20 and you will get 6 plants and you'll get months and months worth of flowering.
And the good thing is, I mean, if you say got the rhodies and the Japanese anemones, you've got colour at both ends of the season as well. Because you've got the early spring colour and then you've got the late summer, autumn colour. So yeah, great.
Love it.
They kind of tick 2 boxes.
Brilliant. We've got some great deals here. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan.
Let's move over though, because we've got another bare root for you, and this one's a poppy that we've got here. This one's called Patty's Plum. It's one of my favourites of the poppies that we bring you, actually. It's the colour of this. It's this rich purple that you've got here. It feels very luscious and gorgeous, doesn't it? Look, it looks unreal.
Yeah, I mean, that is a phenomenal colour, isn't it? That is a really, really gorgeous colour. And again, these are so easy to grow. These sort of oriental poppies come back year after year after year, bone hardy. They don't need to worry about frost or cold during the winter time. Yeah, they might look a bit delicate and a bit, like they're going to be a bit of a prima donna, but these are the easiest perennial to grow in the world. Stupid drought tolerant as well. Super drought tolerant, and you'll get a good sort of 4 to 6 weeks of flower from these. And then sometimes, if you trim them down after they're flowered, give them a good liquid feed. Our blooming fast is really good. I've seen them then come back again, give a second show of flower a little bit later in the season. But just a phenomenal plant, this one. I mean, the coloration in that flower and the centre of that flower, I mean, it's almost like the middle of a passion flower, isn't it? All those different kind of shapes and bits and pieces going on.
It's so pretty. Obviously, it starts its life as something particularly ugly. That is not a pretty thing, is it?
No. And people worry about bare root, but don't worry about bare root because we're coming into the second week of October now. The plants are starting to go dormant.
Yeah.
So So the plant's not worried about being out the ground at the moment because it's going to sleep. That root is going to sleep. So, I mean, what I would probably do is, to be honest with you, I would probably pot this on. That's what I would do. I'd pot it on into a pot, and then just keep the pot somewhere, just anywhere really in the winter. I mean, it doesn't even matter if it freezes really, but just put it in a little shelter spot for the winter, and then next spring let it grow on a little bit till it's kind of got a nice little root system in the pot, and then just transplant it into the garden.
Wait until you see some foliage coming up?
Yeah. Wait till a bit of foliage has come up. So wait to say the end of April, beginning of May, when you see the leaves emerge. Knock it out the pot, and if you see that lovely rooty beauty thing that we talk about, then it's time to transplant it into the garden. That's what I would do. Well,
you are going to get 3 of those bare roots, but it is a double up deal for you today. So you can get 3 for £12.99, or if you put 2 lots in your basket, you'll get 6 of them for £17.99. So that's going to fill a really nice space as well, isn't it? Because you get loads of foliage on them. Really, really beautiful. 580059 is the item number. If you'd like to go for our Patty's plum, the papava, the poppy papava Patty's plum. It doesn't say poppy anywhere. I'm adding that word in, but I do love it. So yeah, bare root season is upon us. We know how good it is to get bare roots because obviously we're getting great value for money, aren't we? It's cheaper to buy a bare root than it is to buy something that's potted. You're not paying for the compost. You're not paying for the pot. You're not paying for the time that it's taken somebody to grow that on. So it's a bit of a gardener's tip, isn't it? A bit of a trick to buy bare roots because it's just the same as planting a potted plant. You just need to put the bare root in instead.
It's all the rage this time, and it's not just perennials. I mean, you can do it with shrubs this time. You can do it with trees. All sorts of plants come bare root from now right up until the end of March.
Absolutely. Right, good morning to you all. I am in the YouTube chat right now. Loads of chat this morning, so thank you very much. Hang on, let me go in here. Eleanor. So, Eleanor, thanks for sharing. Eleanor has bipolar, agoraphobia, and my garden helps so much. Getting the air in my lungs and grass beneath my feet. Thanks for sharing that. That's lovely. We're talking about World Mental Health Day today. So, it's a fantastic thing for a lot of us to get out there and do things. Angela's saying, my Caribbean lily, crocus and tulip bulbs arrived at the weekend. I planted a few, found my lily bulbs on the ground this morning, dug up by those pesky squirrels. Do you know, there's something that comes into my garden as well and digs into the pots and things, and I don't know if it's squirrels. I've never seen any. I see big fat pigeons in my garden a lot. I don't know if they try and get in the pots and dig things up. Yeah, I mean, well, if it's pots, you can put chicken wire over the top and really tuck that in around the rim of the pot. That stops them getting in, wouldn't it? Or if you're planting bulbs in the ground, sometimes if you put the bulbs in, a little bit of soil over the top and then some sort of chicken wire or something over that point, then more soil. As well. Yeah, the bulbs will grow through that, and it will just stop the squirrels digging them up and eating them. They are pesky. George is saying, yeah, Angela, I feel your pain. Planted up nice big pots with bulbs and violas this morning. All dug up bulbs gone or lying on the ground. Oh, guys, get yourself some wire, as Adam said. Let's try and stop those pesky squirrels. Right, Eleanor said, I thought when Venus flytraps flower, they die. Not necessarily. We were talking about it this morning. So Venus flytraps will flower, and the sort of general time for them to flower is in spring and summertime. So they will send up flowers sort of naturally, but it can also be a sign of the plant being stressed, because obviously that's its way of trying to ensure its survival. So yeah, just chop those flowers off. Don't worry about that at all. Yeah, they're not what they call monocarpic. Monocarpic plants will flower and then they die afterwards. These won't die. No. Right, what else? Neil. Neil's saying, Angela, I hung mine in pots over the fence. Luckily, the squirrels seem to leave them alone there. I don't know, lots of tips and tricks. You've got to see what works for you guys, basically. Let's have a little look in the emails as well. What if you leave a topic bar out or something like that? Yeah, like the adverts. Or a marathon. I'm not sure we should do that. That's like the advert, isn't it? There's an old advert with the squirrels coming in and stealing the chocolate bar. I think that's Topic. Was a hazelnut in every bite. The power of advertising, that's the thing that we remember. There was a joke about squirrels and Topic as well, but we won't go into it. Right, Neil's asking a question. So, morning, Bex, Sean and Stuart. He means Adam. Good morning, Adam. It's a lovely, bright but cool day here in Sheffield. Can you please tell me when and if I should cut back the Gora Siskiyou Pink and the Barnsley Baby that I have in pots outside the front of my House. Many thanks. Keep the plants. Great deals and fab shows coming. Regards, Neil.
Gora.
So Barnsley Baby and Gora Siskiyou Pink.
Yeah, well, our Gora at home still flowering a little bit, so we've left ours for the time being. But probably by the middle of this month, what I would do is just take all the flower heads off the top and just go down about an inch into the foliage, but no further. Don't go any deeper than that. And then as for regarding the Lavatera, leave that as it is until the spring, because if we get a really hard winter, sometimes they get knocked back a bit anyway by the frost. So leave that till the spring, and then probably about April time, when all the worst of the frosts are over, towards the end of April, trim any damaged growth off the top, trim it down to where there's some nice healthy green shoots, and it will regrow and flower all over again.
Very nice. Same with Barnsley Baby?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, Barnsley Baby.
Oh, sorry,
Barnsley Baby Lavatera. Yeah.
Lovely. Hope that helps, Neil. Keith has messaged, Dingo rather, I should say. Hi, Bex and Adam. Got some pond work coming up soon. Got to get in the pond, like physically in it. Have you got one of those wader suits? You know, one of those great big things that come up to here and you just get in it? That'd be cool. Got to get in the pond, trim plants back so I can put the roof back on to protect the plants and turtles from the winter months. Cheers, Dingo. And he sent us a picture. Oh my word, look how luscious this pond looks. We do need to visit. Look.
So the turtles, they just live in, I mean, the water's not heated or anything, they just live in normal cold water, do they, for the winter?
Yeah,
they're
I think so.
They're really hardy. Because I need educating on turtles, because I always thought like they were like warm water kind of critters, but I guess these don't mind cold winter.
Well, it obviously needs a bit of protection because it needs to get the roof on it and stuff to protect it.
Yeah. But
oh, that looks so beautiful.
That is incredible, isn't it? I mean, look at the lushness of those plants.
My mum and dad used to have a massive pond. It got too much work for them in the end, and they ended up filling it in. But it was I remember digging it. I remember getting in and we dug right down. It was a really deep pond. They had massive koi carp in there, and it was beautiful. Loved it.
There are a lot of work there, aren't they, sometimes, those big ponds?
They can be a lot of work.
Yeah.
That looks really cool though, Dingo. Thank you. If you do want to send us any emails, then the email address is ygtv@yougarden.com. Stu's just put it on the bottom of the screen there. Do send us any of the things you've got going on. We'd love to see them. We like seeing in your gardens. And I'll come back to the YouTube chat in a little while. Stu's keeping an eye on the Facebook chat, so if you're on there, don't worry, we're not ignoring you. Stu will be paying attention. Let's come to the centre, shall we?
I don't know where this label is, so I'm going to turn it round, because I think the plant looks best that way.
There you go. There's always the right side, isn't there?
Plants are face side, didn't they? So they have a really good side and not such a good side.
That's right, Stu. So we went to this garden. It's a guy who's on TikTok, and we did some filming there, and we planted up stuff in his garden. We had a lovely day out, didn't we? Down in
really
Gloucester.
Lovely hot day, yeah.
And Stu, who's operating, he was helping, and he planted a plant, and then Adam wasn't happy. Adam dug it up and turned it around because it wasn't the right way around.
It was back to front, because you look at any plant. I mean, look at this agapanthus, for example. I mean, you look at the agapanthus, you can naturally see that agapanthus leans one way, doesn't it? So if you was planting this against a wall, you wouldn't plant it like that with the leaves facing back to the wall. You'd face it with the leaves facing away from the wall, because that's the way it looks right. So
I love it.
We're all genius in different ways. I mean, Stu, our producer, he's super genius with technology and all sorts of incredible things. So,
and Adam's the plant man. So
we're both. We're the plant people.
All right, let's talk about the magnolia. This is the fairy blush. I lose my words when I talk about this one.
Look at it.
Because the colour of this is just incredible.
Do you think those flowers look a little bit like a pond lily opening up?
Absolutely, they do.
It's got that kind of look, haven't they?
Absolutely, yes.
And I mean, it's so different to how you think of a normal magnolia, isn't it? I mean, the flowers are really sort of different and unusual.
I love magnolias.
But look at the fact that you've got that sort of coloration as well. You've got that lovely sort of purple on the edge, and then that really pure white further down. And these are fragrant.
Oh, yeah, of course they are, yeah.
Yeah, which, again, you don't normally think about magnolias being fragrant.
So flowers in around, what is it, April or May?
Yeah, it flowers pretty much a similar time to... Look, I mean, that's like a hedge, isn't it? I mean, that's like a magnolia hedge there. So, yeah, I mean, these flower pretty much a similar time as most magnolias flower, but also, like other magnolias, they do have this little cheeky habit sometimes of throwing out a few more flushes of flower.
Occasional ones, just weird ones
in the
every
summer.
now and then.
Yeah, just all of a sudden you'll go out one day and you go, hang on a minute, that's not supposed to be flowering now, but they do. They just occasionally, in the summer, if the mood takes them, they'll throw out a few more flowers throughout the summer. Not as drastic and as amazing as the springtime, but this is a plant that's nice and compact. It's, you know, this doesn't get super, super tall. So I was just out trying to remember the height of this one, but it's very, very free flowering. But this one, I think it's about a metre and a half tall, but you can keep it trimmed, you can keep it clipped.
So a bush rather than a tree?
Yeah, it doesn't grow, it's not like the big Soulangiana types with the big tulip flowers that can, you know, grow into small trees.
My mum and dad have got one in the middle of their lawn. They've got that central, and it is massive.
Yeah, and they can get a trunk on them like that, can't they? I mean, like a tree, really, like a small tree. This is more of a kind of a shrubby, compact kind of plant. So, I mean, I would even go as far to say, you know, if you're Mandy and you live 5 floors up and you've only got a balcony, you could grow this in a pot. Be fantastic for growing in a pot. And you could pop it in, 3 metres. There you go. So, well,
that's still very compact. When I think about the one my mum and dad have got, it's a good 6 or 7 metres in height.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's still, you know, relatively small for a magnolia, but it's not going to zoom up to that height really, really quickly. I mean, you can see this year. I mean, this is the new growth here, and that's probably only about 5 or 6 inches of growth that it's put on in one season. So this, you know, this is a nice slow growing one, but you can clip it, you can prune it. If you want to prune it, I would prune it immediately after it's finished flowering in spring. Yeah. Because then the new growth it creates will then give you flower buds for the following year.
Okay, yeah.
So, but it's just a really unusual, really different, gorgeous.
And they are quite low maintenance, aren't they? There isn't much you need to do with magnolias.
No, plant them and leave them, as simple as that. And all again, I'd say, obviously, if it's in a pot, then keep it well watered. And sometimes people say magnolias, do they need acid soil in the alkaline soil? I mean, I found magnolias generally tend to grow on most soils rather than really chalky soils. But if you want to err on the side of caution, you grow it in a pot. Use the ericaceous compost.
Absolutely gorgeous in a 3-litre pot, so it's really nicely established. Excuse me, £12 saving on that one as long as you use the code YGTV4124. Of course, you're going to get that 10% discount by joining our club as well today. So we give you amazing discounts here in the Potting Shed, but if you're a member of the club, that 10% comes off what we've already discounted on there as well. So it's not one or the other, you will get both of those discounts. 510733 is the item number. You go online to YouGarden.com to place your order. So all the W's at YouGarden.com to place your order. I think we've got phone lines open during the week as well, haven't we, Stu? Oh my word. Yes, there is a phone line. If you do like to talk to people as well, you absolutely can. Well, should we move on? Because Adam's stolen the show here with his agapanthus.
I was tinkering. I was trying
to... fell over trying to get that out of the pot.
I was trying to subtly just remove this from the pot, but it didn't want to come out. But so, you know, if you doubt that we send you out established plants that have been growing on for a long time, well, look at that. That wasn't planted 2 weeks ago, was it? that is a really, really stonking, healthy plant.
It's a beautifully established agapanthus. Now, this is the Africanus blue, so this is the big variety, isn't it? This one can get really tall.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen flowers on these get to sort of 1.5 meters, you know, really, really tall, and great big flower heads as well.
And loads of them. Yeah. You know, this isn't a trick. You can create beautiful agapanthus with multiple flower heads.
Yeah, and a long flowering period on these, because what you'll find initially is you'll get 2 or 3 flower spikes come up and they'll open, and then you'll see smaller ones further down, and it's kind of like over a period of probably a couple of months or so, you just get these, you know, they don't all come out at once, they just keep replacing the flower heads over a long period of time. And you can see those ones there. I mean, that could be down in the Channel Islands or somewhere like that. Literally, in places like the Channel Islands and places like Madeira and parts of the Canaries and stuff, they've escaped into the wild, and they just grow like weeds. You know, they're really, really just happy to
They
just
do
grow.
Actually like those coastal regions as well,
do,
don't they?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing to say about this one is it might need a little bit of protection in a very, very cold winter, because they won't tolerate really, really super minus low temperatures.
So a little bit of frost will be fine, but if it's prolonged or well into the minus figures, you need to give them a bit of protection.
A couple of options: grow in the pot if you want, and if you're in a really, really cold area, so you know you're going to get, if you live somewhere you know you're going to get -8s, -9s in the winter, grow it in the pot, and then you can just put it somewhere not warm, just somewhere where it's it's just barely above freezing. That's all it needs.
Well, even just moving a pot next to a house can make a big difference, because it actually adds a bit of protection, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And the warmth you get from the house, I know it sounds weird, but the warmth you get by putting it next to the house can be a couple of degrees difference.
It's like a storage heater, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in one of the pictures Stu showed us there, you saw these growing at the base of a nice stone wall, and that again, that shows you where they're really, really happy. So, you know, grow these in the garden, grow them somewhere in the warmest, most sheltered spot possible. They will come up year after year after year. And if you are a bit worried about them in the winter time, you could cover them in a nice layer of strolch, for example.
Yeah, of course, we've got that on the show. That's available
protect the
for
base of the plant, or excuse me, God, I've got that cough now. Or also, I did see on our list of products, we're doing a bark mulch as well now. Spruce,
yeah, of course, the spruce bark mulch. It's been really popular the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, a nice mound of that over the root as well would keep it happy through the winter. But this is, you know, this is a plant that is really stunning, really incredible, huge, massive impact, and really, really worth the effort to grow, because it is phenomenal.
Definitely worth the effort, and definitely an amazing price for you. In that 2-litre pot, Adam showed you the quality of the plant. He showed you how rooty that is, and it's just £8.99 if you are in our club today. Remember, get your order to over £40. That's how you're going to get that free postage on your order. Very, very easy to do, particularly when we move over to that table and we've got all our spring bulbs coming up. Let's just give you a little reminder, though, of a few things that you might want to add into your into your basket. Now, the first one might be that ericaceous compost, because we do have a few acid-loving plants on the show today. It comes in a 60-litre bag. It's for your acid-loving plants. It's for those rhododendrons. Maybe it's the camellia. Yeah, grab that one. It's got no postage cost. It's a postage included item. 100042 is the item number. Camellia, Yuletide. Yeah, this one, I remember us bringing this one last year, and it was so popular because it has got those beautiful sort of Christmassy colours included. Luscious green and evergreen leaves on there. Nice deep dark colour, which just perfectly highlight those beautiful red flowers on there. Flowering typically for you in December and around Christmas time, and into January, and even tickling into February as well, it can do, can't it? 510818 is the item number. Massive saving on there. It's nearly half price. We've got a £15 saving. Next, we're going on to our azaleas, and this is the collection. It's like a buy one, get two free. Look at our recommended price there. It's nearly £30 normally. You're going to save £20 today. You'll get the geisha white, the geisha red, and the blouse pink, I think it's called. So gorgeous red, white, and pink theme. Nice and slow growing. Can grow in pots, absolutely smothered in those very showy flowers that you get from them. 510804. Make sure you, do you know what, if you've got a £5 voucher to use and you're in the club, you can get that for that collection for £3.97. £3.97. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that's ridiculous, Bex.
So ridiculous price.
When you go to garden centres, azaleas and rhododendrons are really expensive, aren't they?
Really expensive. Yeah. So yeah, grab that little bargain. We've also got the same deal here on the Hardy Japanese anemone collection. So 3 of them, the pink, the red, the white. £8.97 in the club. If you've got a £5 voucher to use, you can get all 3 of those for £3.97. Just bonkers value we've got at the moment. 480128 is the item number if you'd like the anemones in your garden. Next we had, this gorgeous poppy. I love this colour. Patty's Plum. It's got this kind of, it's a bit, I don't know, antique-y feel to me. The colour of those petals is just gorgeous. 3 of those bare roots in a bag, but if you can double up and you want to double up, you can get 6 of those bare roots for £17.97. I love that picture. We need that. I want that garden, please.
We need, is it Mary? We need Mary to give us...
Elaine.
Elaine.
Elaine gives us the colours.
The colours, yeah. Because we're saying plum. We're saying plum, but I think plum's a cop-out on that.
Yeah, I reckon we could come up with something a bit more special.
Yeah, it needs something a bit more vum.
Absolutely. Elaine, I love it when you give us our colours, so let us know in the chat, will you? 580059 for that one, and we do have that amazing deal on the double up, and I want that garden right there, please. Let's move on, shall we? Have we got any more to show? Oh, we have indeed. Oh, of course, the 2 we had in the middle. So we had the beautiful magnolia, the fairy blush. Gorgeous colours that you get on here, and we know how pretty magnolias are. Now, the flowers don't last ages, we know that, but it doesn't mean it's not worth having in your garden. They are absolutely just elegant, stunning, and this one in particular, with the graduation of colour that you get, I think is really incredible. A more compact variety of magnolia we're talking about here as well, and very well established in that 3-litre pot. £12 saving as well today if you use the code YGTV 4124. £16.19 if you are in the club. And of course, we've got that gorgeous agapanthus, the Africanus blue. It's one of the big ones, this. So there's more compact varieties of agapanthus that you can get, but this is the one that can actually get to a good metre, maybe even metre 20 in height. Very, very well established. We showed you what a rooty beauty that is. So get that one planted, get it nicely established, and then next year you'll get multiple flowers and it'll just keep getting better year on year as well. If you want to get in touch with us, you absolutely can. Please do. We love to hear from you. This is why it's wonderful to be live, because we get to talk to you, you get to talk to us, you get to ask questions, you get to share your photos and pictures and things with us. The email address is on the bottom of the screen there, ygtv@yougarden.com. I will grab those on the iPad and we'll show any pictures that you want to send. We are here to help. We are here to answer any questions that you might have as well. Of course, we've got our free postage offer. If you get to over £40, all you have to do is just build your basket and get that order to over £40, and then you will not have to pay any postage at all. Everything's beautifully packaged. I received an order just the other day. I didn't tell you, did I? Do you know those patio spiral stem olive trees that we've got?
Yeah.
I still haven't posted the video. I will. I'll post a video on socials soon. I bought 2 of the big ones, and they're currently outside the front of my house, and they are so pretty, but they were wonderfully packaged. I placed the order on, I can't remember, it was 2 days basically. I think it was the Tuesday I placed the order, and it was the Thursday I placed the order, and it was delivered on the Saturday lunchtime. So orders are very quick at the moment. If you're just worried about any delivery times, we do seem to be getting them out quite quickly.
I can vouch for that with your other guys that you work at. My houseplant, my Boston fern. Yeah, that arrived within 3 days.
Yeah, there you go.
And it was perfectly packaged as well. I mean, I opened the box and it was immaculate. It was stunning.
Yeah, so if you have never shopped with us before, do have confidence that, I mean, we place orders and we get deliveries and we can vouch for how well they come through. What else do I need to tell you? Join the club. If you haven't joined the club already, then now is the time. Costs you £5 to join the club. You will get 10% discount on everything that you buy in the potting shed, pretty much. Yeah, I think everything we bring in the potting shed is a 10% discount. Yes, that's right. And you'll also get a welcome pack through the post, which will give you the £20 worth of YouGarden vouchers for you to spend throughout the year as well. Now, you can spend them all in one day if you like, but they just have to be on separate orders. There's 4 £5 vouchers. It's 1 per order. But if you want to use them all in the same day, you absolutely can. It's very, very simple to do.
Do you know,
right.
You said just now about sort of filling a basket.
Yeah.
I just had a little bit of a thought. Wouldn't it be really nice to have the camellia,
yes,
and then have the magnolia? Because
why not? Because they'll just take over from each other.
Yeah, one will take over from the other, wouldn't it? So
absolutely.
that
Camellia will be in flower over Christmas into January, February time,
and then you'll have a little bit of a gap.
The magnolia won't be far behind, though,
and then
will it?
the magnolia, and then if you wanted to, if you're really pushing the boat out, you could then go for the little azalea collection.
Yeah.
And then so you've got 3 lots of really hardy shrubs that all flower, that will give you colour from Christmas time right up until probably the end of May, early June.
Well, it's an important point as well that you say hardy. So for anybody that doesn't know already, I know you regulars do, but if it's winter hardy and you're looking for the snowflake symbol on the website when you place the order, it's just a little snowflake symbol. It says winter hardy. It is covered by our lifetime guarantee. I still haven't found anywhere else that sells plants that offers a lifetime guarantee. They might give you a couple of years. I did see one that gave a 5-year guarantee, but ours is lifetime. So Stu's just highlighting it there. Look, winter hardy. That means it's got the lifetime guarantee. So if you buy that plant, you plant it in your garden, and in 10 years' time, it dies, all you need to do is get back in touch with YouGarden. As long as we're still selling that plant, we will replace it for you free of charge. All you have to do is pay any postage cost to get it out to you, but we will replace it for you. And I really want to make a big deal about how valuable that is. I have never found anywhere else that sells plants that offers that.
And am I kind of guessing, again, I'll throw it out there, I'm guessing if we don't have that plant anymore, we could probably send out something very similar.
Potentially.
Or a
talk to customer services.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would want to do something, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find something very, very, very similar, couldn't we? No problem at all.
But it's a great thing that we do here, and that is the kind of quality of the business that you're dealing with at YouGarden. And we have been in business for, it's about 2 decades now. So we're not just this brand new startup company, we have been going for quite a while.
And it's good if you're a new gardener, isn't it? You're a young couple or whatever, and you've just moved into a new home and money's a bit tight.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go out and spend money on plants, it's nice to have that peace of mind, isn't it? To know that if they do fail, and they've got that Hardy guarantee, we'll replace them for you.
We will replace it. Right, so one of the other jobs, we've done a lot of sort of shrubs and bare roots, perennial plants. Now what we need to talk to you about is your spring gardens, because now's the time, isn't it? There's no other time to plant these. Now is the time to plant your spring bulbs. It's not like, oh, I can do that in the spring. No. You have to do this now if you want these flowers in springtime. What we've got for you is a 3 for 2 mix and match offer. We've got 5 out on the table, but I think there's another couple of items that are also included in the 3 for 2. We will show you them as well. I think it's 7 in total that we've got for you. So all you have to do is choose which 3 you want. It might be 3 of the same item, and that's entirely up to you, but I like that we've got a mix and match, because maybe you don't want all Muscari albums, for example. Maybe you want Muscari album and you want some Allium Globemaster and you want some Narcissus Tete-a-Tete. You can do that. Add the 3 that you want into your basket, put the code in YGTV4124, one of the bags will be free. How cool is that, right? And of course you'll get your free bare root peony, the Sarah Bernhardt included in there as well. Let's crack on, let's start. Should we go with the album? Oh, right, okay, I want these. I want the Globemasters.
You mean you haven't got these already?
I'm lying. I did actually. Right, so this is one of my nightmares from last year. I planted 5 Globemaster bulbs last year.
Okay.
4 of them got dug up by something, disappeared, went out into my garden, and you could see the hole where, and they were starting to sprout, they were coming up, and something dug up and took away 4 of them.
Squirrels again, I would say.
So I got 1 left, which is, it flowered and it was beautiful, but it was just this 1 solitary Globemaster bulb in the pot. So that is why I need to place an order for some more. I will be getting some chicken wire this time, and I will be protecting them. I love Globemaster because these get big.
These are dramatic. I mean, we bought you the Agapanthus earlier on, and it's a similar shaped flower. This is the allium equivalent of that Agapanthus. Huge, great big, long, straight, stout stems, and then these tennis ball kind of size flower heads. I mean,
so mine got to. It was a good size, but it's densely packed, isn't it? Really densely packed with flowers. I'll have to find my picture later.
Pollinating insects go insane for these, don't they? I mean, the bees, the butterflies, all the lacewings, I absolutely love these. I mean, so they're really good for pollinators as well. But just dramatic. And even when they're finished flowering, the seed heads look brilliant as well. So I wouldn't suggest deadheading these, because just leave them, because all the way through the summer, the golden structure of the seed head after the purple flowers have gone look magnificent. Funny enough, I did see a lady on, I think it was either TikTok or Instagram, and she did this brilliant thing. She had loads and loads of alliums, and she left them for about 2 or 3 weeks after they finished flowering, and then in the video she was walking out of this circular piece of cardboard with a slit in it. And I thought, what are you doing? So she walked up to the base of one of these flowers, and she's kind of slid the slit bit up to the stem, so it had something all the way around underneath. Then she got a can of paint spray.
And sprayed it.
And she sprayed them purple.
How cool.
And she was spraying them all different colours.
I like that.
How amazing is that? So I think she used like a natural kind of dye or something, or spray. But I thought that was a really
I cut mine this year,
thing.
all the different alliums, and I cut them and dried them and put them into a vase. Again, I've got a video of that somewhere, so I'll show you as well, because they're really interesting once the flowers have gone over.
But if you want drama, if you want colour, if you want something that's really spectacular, go for these, because these are magnificent. They're easy to grow, they're winter hardy. What they really love is full sun and good drainage. drainage. That's where they really, really thrive. Brilliant for pots as well if you want to grow them in pots. And another good thing about them, unlike certain bulbs, the foliage dies down really, really quickly as well. So you're not left with loads and loads of foliage to die down.
So the Allium Globemaster is one of the options for the 3 for 2 mix and match. It's £14.99. It's 3 bulbs, but they are definitely worth adding into your basket. Maybe it's 3 packs of those you want to go for, or maybe it's some of the others. Let's have a little look. I really am quite keen on this particular collection. We're calling it our Hardy Rock Garden Tulip Mix, but they're just quite unusual. They're not like what I would expect a tulip to look like, but there's some beautiful varieties in here.
Yeah, these are all lovely compact tulips. So in inches wise, these get about sort of 7-8 inches tall. Some of them are almost kind of like what we call species type of tulips. So, you know, literally as you would find tulips growing wild, you know, as they first were. But, you know, these are fantastic for rock gardens. They're fantastic for scree gardens, gravel gardens, great for window boxes. You could even put these in hanging baskets.
Nice, because they're a bit shorter. Yeah, they're a bit shorter.
They come back year after year after year. Plant them really sunny, somewhere really sunny and well draining. We've got you know, various types. We've got one called Lilac Wonder, which has got an award of garden merit. We've got one called Chrysantha, which is a yellow and red variety. There's one called Lizzie, which is red. One called Saxatilis, which is lilac with the yellow centre that you can see there. Yeah. Then we've got Silvestris, which is the lovely yellow one. We've got Tara de Stemmen, brilliant names these, aren't they? I mean, Tara de Stemmen. And then we've got Turkistanica White, which is the one in the middle there. So a real fabulous collection of tulips here, but not the kind of tulips you see in park displays or displays like that. These ones are much more stout, much shorter. In fact, a few of these varieties are multi-headed as well. So when we think of daffodils, we think of Tate having the multi-heads. Some of these have that as well. A really beguiling, interesting, beautiful colour full selection there of lovely, lovely tulips.
I like that one. That's my favourite, actually, of what we're bringing you in the 3 for 2 mix and match today. So I do hope you're going to add that one into your basket. It's a bag of 20 bulbs, and it is in that 3 for 2 mix and match. The next one we've got, Adam grew these this year, didn't you? It's our Muscari. It's the album. It's the white Muscari.
Although I did cheat a little bit because I saw them in a garden centre, already pre-grown in one of those little 9 centimetre pots.
Oh, you didn't grow them from bulbs?
Well, they were just coming up.
Okay, so I mean, they were bulbs.
They were bulbs, but they were growing bulbs.
Fair enough.
And I plucked them in the garden. Really unusual.
But they're going to come back for you, aren't they? This is the thing with Muscari. They do naturalise, multiply.
They do. Again, all these bulbs are as tough as old boots. That's the good thing about them. All winter hardy, all easy to grow. Muscari in particular, I mean, they're bomb-proof. They are. They'll come back year after year after year.
I like the white colour as well. It's a bit unusual.
Are they squirrel-proof, Stu said? Well, probably not, to be honest. I mean, you know...
I don't think any bulb is squirrel-proof.
No.
We have to deal with the squirrels,
yeah,
don't we?
If you're vulnerable to squirrels, then you need to take preventative measures. But, I mean, so-called grape hyacinths, because if you hold the flower upside down, it looks like a bunch of grapes. Yeah. That's where they kind of got their name from. Muscari is their posh name. I think they originated from the States originally, but they'll come up year after year, they'll spread, they'll make bigger and bigger clumps. Really, really lovely. And if you've got some blue ones, plant these in between the blue ones. Have blue and white Muscari.
Yeah, I think that'd be gorgeous. I mean, I love the blue Muscari. It's one of my favourite bulbs in the garden. You know, it reminds me of my nan. She used to have loads of these in her garden. Lovely carpet of colour they create. Really neat and tidy bulb as well, to be honest with you, because they sort of pop up, they do their thing, they stay around for a good few weeks, and then they just disappear. They're not one that has really untidy, annoying foliage that takes ages to die down. They do seem to tidy up after themselves.
And they're nice and compact, aren't they, as well?
Really nice and compact.
Sort of 5-6 inches tall.
I mean, they're beautiful under shrubs and trees. They're wonderful as a carpet of colour, and then you could plant the Muscaris and your tulips together.
That'd look great,
the Muscaris will come up, the tulips will be up above them. They look really beautiful. Okay, so a firm favourite every single year is the Narcissus. It's the tete-a-tete. They're little dinky daffodils. I love the dinky daffodils. They're my faves.
I've planted probably hundreds, thousands of these over the years for people because they're just the archetypal, perfect little kind of miniature daffodil or Narcissus for me. These get to about 7-8 inches tall. And the ones in my garden this year, they were subjected to some of the most vile weather. Yeah. But they didn't care. I mean, one day we had really heavy, wet, sleety kind of snow. We had hail. We had wind, Yeah, they come up at this time of year, and they're a bit weird because you think, oh, you look so delicate and you look so beautiful. Why do you choose such a brutal time of year to flower? But that's the charm of them, because in the midst of, when we get to sort of late February time, when we're almost going stir crazy because we've been indoors for so long, we've been so overworked. Yeah, where's the colour? Where's the daylight? And all of a sudden these pop up in the garden, and they're like a lifesaver, aren't they? Like a lifeline. They just fill you with buoyancy and enthusiasm.
Spring is here,
joy.
the darkness is gone,
exactly.
the light and the warmth, it's just around the corner.
That's
and that's
a great
what we
thing.
love about daffodils.
We do.
You get multiple heads on these as well, which is great. It's not just one daffodil per stem, is it? You get multiple flowers, which is wonderful. 25 bulbs included in there, really easy to plant out. You might want to go just for 3 bags of those because they will be gorgeous. The reason I love the dinky daffodils so much is that you can plant them in more places than you can the big tall ones.
Yeah.
You know, tops of hanging baskets, in window boxes, rockeries. I would never plant tall daffodils in those places.
No,
but
because
you
they'll
can
flop
with,
over, wouldn't
exactly.
they? Yeah,
but you can with these. And of course, if you live in a really windy area, then the shorter daffodils are going to be a little bit better. They're not going to suffer with the wind.
And they look brilliant in grass as well. Look brilliant in the lawn.
Drifts.
And just quickly before we move on, I've also found again with the miniature daffodils, the foliage tends to die down a little bit more quickly than some of the taller ones.
Nice. All right. So the final one we've got on the table for you as part of our 3 for 2 mix and match is the Spring Festival mix. It's a nice little collection, this, because actually what we're getting, we've got the allium molly, we've got the Tritlia and the iris, the Dutch iris mix included in here as well. That was the one I was struggling with. I couldn't remember the name. But really gorgeous colour combination here, a lovely colour palette. Yeah,
well, again, this is not what I call a lazy mix. You know, sometimes I mention about lazy mixes of bulbs where they just chuck any old bulb in, you know, and they give you 80 of one thing and 5 of another and 15 of something else. This is so beautifully thought through. The Dutch irises are one of my favourite. The Dutch irises are the ones at the bottom there with the multi-colours. Easy to grow. They come back year after year after year. And the Dutch irises also, they might have 4 or 5 flowers on one spike. So it's not just one flower and that's it.
Yeah.
The first flower goes over, then in a few days another flower comes. So one of those flower heads might last a week or so.
Tritlia.
They used to be called Broadier, which is the name I remember them still as. Get flower for a long time, long time, weeks and weeks and weeks of flower for those. And then the little allium mollies, they're really stunning, only about 5 or 6 inches tall. And all these, the Tritlia and the alliums are great for rockeries and all those kind of places. The Dutch irises I've found as well are really good for just coming up between other perennials.
Yeah.
I had some. I've got one. I don't know where it come from, but my big clump of Rebecca. I had this huge, great big, deep blue Dutch iris come up every year.
Amazing.
Just on its own. Just pops up in the middle. Yeah. Has about 4 or 5 flowers, and then great thing is, by the time all the Rebecchias come up, I don't see all the foliage dying down. It just disappears.
It just disappears.
Yeah, this is a beautiful collection. Go for it. It's stunning. All
right, 600259 is the item number. You've got 5 on the table here to choose from as part of the 3 for 2 mix and match, but there are a couple more that we want to add into that for you. So, are we going to show those? Yeah, Tulip Triumph. Yeah, maybe you want your classic, gorgeous tulips. These are the beautiful, classic goblet shape, the cup shaped tulips in those beautiful fiery hot colours, the reds, the yellows, the whites, that all set them off perfectly. Reaching about 40 or 50 centimetres in height. Tulip Triumph, they're part of the taller variety, aren't they?
They are, Bex, and that is, I mean, really, that's just a bowl of beauty, isn't it? I mean, that is just literally a bowl of beauty there, looking absolutely phenomenal with all those fantastic colours there. And what a range of colours, from sort of white to yellow to sort of deep purples. Lovely straight stems as well, and even the foliage on these looks super healthy. You've got that glaucous, what I call that glaucous blue kind of foliage on there, which looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, these are beautiful. Absolutely love these.
Yeah,
really lovely.
Those. And they are part of that 3 for 2 mix and match. And of course, we've got the Great Hyacinth, the classic purple variety or blue variety of the Muscari available, which is in that mix and match collection as well. You just have to choose which 3 sets of bulbs you want Look at those, aren't they so pretty?
Isn't
But
that beautiful?
basically, one bag will be free. You put them in your basket, you enter the code YGTV4124, and one of them will pop up as being absolutely free of charge.
Imagine having a mix of the blue and the white and starry flowering away.
I think that looks so pretty.
Well, it always reminds me a little bit. You know, when you go to a bluebell wood in spring sometimes, and you see 99% of them are blue.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you see a white one, don't you? Little odd white little bluebell come up between the purple ones.
Well, it just offsets all the colours. It looks really
it does.
nicely.
It's lovely.
Right, so yeah, now's the time to get hold of those spring bulbs. I'm sure, you know, we need to get all those bulbs planted. Last year, I remember looking, I had 800 or 900 bulbs, and I was looking at it, and oh my word, that's so many bulbs. But actually, once you get the job started, it is so quick and easy. So yeah, grab hold of those bulbs and get those in the ground or in your pots as soon as you possibly can. Next, we're going to talk to you about our amazing compost. This is our premium professional compost. It's the compost we use here at the nursery. I know you all know about this, guys, or certainly all the regulars do. You know how good this is. So we're talking to the new people here, the people that have never tried this before. This is the compost we use at the nursery. Everything we grow, pot on, it is done using this compost. And it's the thing that we sell the most of here at YouGarden. We're a plant supplier. We sell lots and lots of plants, but obviously you need something to plant it in. And this compost is packed with amazing ingredients.
It is, and I used this week. I used 3 or 4 bags of this week because along my garage wall I had a big wooden trough very similar to what Sean's got there. And I had a Campsis radicans trumpet vine in the middle of it, and it just kept drying out all the time, this trough. So I've emptied the trough out, put it out the front for my hubby. He's going to grow tulips in it. And then I got myself a great big massive pot, which I've now put the Campsis in, and I put 3 or 4 bags of this compost into the pot with the Campsis. That Campsis is going to be so happy next year because
of course it is.
Well, it was really weird. I thought about you as well because we talk about this compost, and I was the pot was about this high, about this wide.
Yeah.
And I put the hose on shower mode.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kid you not, I stood there for about 10 minutes before the water started to come out the bottom. And when I put the compost in to start with, I could just go like that with the pot, and the pot wobbled a little bit.
Yeah.
By the end, I was like,
it was that
heavy, yeah.
Wow.
And that was the problem with the Campsis before. It kept drying out in this trough. That's why it wasn't thriving. So now it's got this huge, great big depth for this incredible compost underneath. It's going to hold on to that moisture. That primary is going to go berserk for me next year and really thrive.
This is one of the important things about it. So we talk about the composted wood fibre that you can see in here. Now what we've done is there is peat in here, 3 different types of peat. There's dark and white peat. There's sphagnum moss peat, which is renewable. But what we've done is reduce the amount of peat content, but we've replaced it with this composted wood fibre, which gives it this lovely light open texture, but it also helps to retain the moisture, which is exactly what you're highlighting there.
Yeah, it does, and also other things it does as well. It keeps that texture open, so it lets air down to the roots, which is really, really important.
So vital, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really vital. And if you think sometimes seeds, like for example, just gone out of my head. What do you call them? Phalaenopsis and stuff. Orchids.
Orchids, okay.
Yeah. Orchid seed is like dust-sized seed.
I mean, they're tiny, aren't they?
You almost need to look at it under a microscope. So if you imagine if you're a tiny seed and you're trying to germinate in something, well, if you're in a really heavy, claggy, stony compost with sticks and all sorts of junk in it, how difficult is that going to be for you to germinate? In this compost, even the tiniest seeds can germinate. They can get their little roots down into this gorgeous, soft,
there's no
open...
great big chunks in here as well. This is another thing to point out. It is so very well composted. I have and still do occasionally run out and I will buy a bag of compost from the garden centre or the garage or wherever, but I'm always disappointed every single time I do it because the number of times you pull out a great big stick or twig that hasn't properly been composted, and I find that very frustrating. I spend 20 minutes picking bits out of it before I start using it.
I've even found string. I found bits of string in mine before.
Yeah.
And also a few years ago I bought, and again I'm not trying to denigrate other products, but I'm only talking from my own experience. A few years ago I bought one of those soil-based seed composts.
Right, yeah.
And I put it in the seed tray, I gave it all a good watering, and then it just set like cement. I mean, it just formed a really hard crust on the top and barely any of the seeds came through because they just couldn't germinate. This year on my windowsill in my spare room, I started all my annuals that I've grown this year, my agerator, my helichrysums, all the different plants I've grown this year. I started them all off in trays of this compost, and I had the most amazing germination.
Yeah.
Then I potted them all on into bigger pots, using this all the time. And yeah, I would never use anything else because it's just phenomenal.
Well, it's got a slow release fertiliser in here. The little green balls that you'll see, that's a slow release fertiliser, going to release that feed into the compost. It's pH balanced, so it's just in the right place for the majority of things that you're going to use it for. Of course, we do have a little bit of an ericaceous theme today, so you might need the ericaceous compost, but most of the things you plant in your garden, in your greenhouse, in your house, you are going to be using this premium professional compost. 2 50-litre bags, 100 litres available for you, and it will get delivered boxed as well, so if you are multi-ordering, you can stack and store this. It's item number 100-125. It's postage included, so another way of you maybe getting hold of multiples of your free gift. If you need 300 litres of compost, place them in separate, or maybe place 2 of them in separate orders. You'll get 2 of your free Sarah Bernhardt peonies. Come back and place the 3rd one along with your other plants and bulbs and things, and get that order to over £40. Then you'll get that free postage, and you'll get another Sarah Bernhardt peony included as your free gift.
I like your style. You're thrifty, you are.
Well, you got to get the most out of your shopping basket. You just need to play with it to work out, how much you're spending, the best way that it works for you.
You mind my friend Helen? She's one of these people that
bargain hunts.
Oh, everything. She'll find a discount code. Yeah. She'll buy stuff that's reduced.
Absolutely.
She's amazing what she does.
My husband's much better at it than me, but yeah, it's a good place to do it. And do you know what? You don't have to try too hard at YGTV because we do put these, all of these offers for you. We've got some deals on pots for you. We're going to start with the one Adam's got because this is the Infinity Planter, the black copper. And this is a stonking deal. If you've been watching the last few weeks, you'll already know this one because we've been bringing it for a little while. We're on a bit of a clearance deal going on with these ones. It's a buy 1 and get 3 free. Did you know that deal was there, Adam?
Easy for you to say.
Buy 1, get 3
free.
So 130283. Go to the website, YouGarden.com. Put 1 in your basket, enter the code YGTV4124. 3 more will appear absolutely free. £7.19 if you're in the club.
Do you know we have bog-offs?
Yeah.
What would be the acronym for this?
Buy 1, get 3 free. Bogged.
It doesn't work, does it?
Doesn't work really, no.
Never mind. The pots work though, don't they?
Yeah. I've actually got some of these. I'll have to find, I can't remember what I've got in here, but they're great pots. They're a good size. If you've just stocked up on a load of our bulbs, the spring bulbs, they're a really good size for spring bulbs, aren't they?
Yeah, they are good size for spring bulbs because, a lot of the collection we've got here, the white muscari would look great in these. Yeah, really stunning.
Dark pots, I think, are the... look, sometimes obviously you've got to pick the right colour, but I think as a general rule, dark pots work the best for the majority of things you're going to plant. It gives a contrast.
Just imagine tating then, it's spring now, and you've got them about this tall. Those golden yellow daffodils against the colour of these pots. And I'm going to say it, these aren't naff, these aren't cheap looking, these aren't rubbish, because that's why I hated plastic pots in the past, because they look naff, they look cheap, they didn't look nice.
No.
So that's why I wouldn't use them. But you look at them now, there's no joins, there's no ugly seams down the side like you used to get in the past. There's none of those wispy bits of plastic all hanging off where they've come off the blow mould and they can't be bothered to have made them properly.
Yeah.
These are quality pots. They're UV resistant, aren't they, Liz?
Yeah, UV stabilised, frost resistant.
Yeah.
So if you have bought cheap plastic pots in the past and you found they've gone brittle, and that generally happens within a year because you've got the heat and the cold and the wet and all the rest of it, they go brittle and crack. That shouldn't happen with these because they're UV stabilised, frost resistant, so they are designed to last for a very long time. And this is why I've moved over from buying ceramic and terracotta and things. I have moved over gradually to having just purely plastic pots in my garden because they last for so much longer. Now I need to point out, last week we had this deal running. We sold over 300, was it, Stu? About 300 of these basically, because these were incredibly popular. Not surprised at this price, but we've got less than 200 available this week.
Is that sets or actual pots?
Oh, pots, actual pots.
Right.
So if you divide that by 4, obviously you can work out how many. 199 left. So if you divide that by 4, that's not a huge amount of people getting hold of this, is it? It's about 50 orders, basically, that can get hold of this. So yeah, really popular last week. If it's as popular this week, then some people are going to miss out on that one. There's still plenty right now, but if you are thinking about maybe getting some of those, it's time to stock up.
130283
is the item number. He wants to show a plant, don't you? Oh yeah, the camellia. Let's do it.
I'm just thinking because
Absolutely, camellia in here will look gorgeous.
That would look
plant.
lovely in there, wouldn't it? And that would be right in there for a couple of years even to grow on.
In actual fact, if you've got a couple of camellias and had those either side of your door.
Oh yeah, that would look good,
with those beautiful
wouldn't it?
bright red flowers that appear, that would be a really nice welcome at Christmas time, wouldn't it?
Doesn't that look great in there? I mean,
It
just
beautiful.
that lovely sort of shiny
right in there
foliage.
for a little while
Oh
as
yeah,
well,
a couple of years it'd be fine in there, yeah. And then you could just put it in the garden or put it onto a slightly bigger pot.
Love it. All right, 130283 if you want to get the Infinity black copper planter. Infinity because it's got that lovely infinity pattern around the side of there. We've got another one for you. Oh, what do I want to see, Stu? Yeah, let's see Spot the Pot at Sean's. Why not? Which one is the pretend pot? Which one is plastic? Which one is not? Well, I know. I only know because we sell it. A few of you might be shouting at the screen as well because you've probably got this one. But looking at it, you wouldn't know which one is plastic.
You would
which
not.
one's terracotta,
Yeah.
which one's...
I mean, when you look at those pots there, you're thinking you've got some lovely, gorgeous glazed pots.
Absolutely.
In that garden.
But we know it's the one at the bottom, don't we? Because we sell that one. But that is a plastic pot. But you can't tell, can you? People walking into the pub there have no idea that that's a plastic pot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing now, isn't it? I kind of give an example sometimes is, if you're just walking to work one day and you're just walking past the garden, you saw that in the garden, you wouldn't give it a second thought to think that was, a plastic pot. You would think that was a very expensive, very heavy glazed pot that might succumb to frost. And in fact, I did that the other day. My other half out the front. Picked up a pot. John said I could have a pot in his front garden. I picked the pot up by the rim. 3 inches of the rim come off all the way around, and the bottom of the pot was still on the ground.
Doesn't it? Because they get the water gets in there, it freezes. It expands, it contracts, and that's where the cracking and breaking comes.
So that become crocs. That was another lot of crocs we didn't need.
A load of drain, you end up smashing it into bits, draining into the bottom of other pots. Well, look, it's the same story with this one, okay? Look how light this is. Now, this is called the barley. This looks like a cement, a stone, a beautiful sort of carved pot. I would not be doing that if it was stone, would I?
You're going to throw it on the floor? You did before?
No, I'm not going to throw it on the floor.
Shall I do it?
Then I've got to run around and get it. No.
They
are tough, they are strong, but they look like a very expensive pot, but they're not.
I'll tell you what's even more sexy about this particular pot.
Oh, my word, use the S word.
It is a different colour on the inside to the outside. I mean, that is stunning. It's like one of those, sometimes when you buy one of those really expensive shirts,
yes,
and it's got a really gorgeous lining on the inside.
And you're always like, why? Nobody's going to see it.
Yeah, but
it's there for me, for my benefit.
And sometimes they've got ones with the cuffs when you turn the cuffs up. And to me that just shows the extra love, the extra detail, the extra thought that somebody's put into that product. And they've done the same with this because you're not going to fill this right the way up to the very, very top with compost.
No.
So I just think it's really, really nice that you've got this gorgeous sort of oatmeal-y colour on the outside, and then you've got this lovely dark brown liner on the inside. It's a stunning pot.
Somebody's just ordered 6 sets of the Infinity pot, by the way, the one we just showed. Good, well done, because it's time to get hold of those. We don't have loads of those left. Now, what I want to point out with this one is this could be used as an indoor pot if you want to. The drainage holes are not there. It's got a bung. Now, it's not. I think you have to actually drill through the bung. So just there, look. So that's where you would drill a hole in. If you're going to use it as an outdoor pot, I would suggest that you drill holes through here. Now, it's super easy to do it with a plastic pot. You don't have to worry too much about drilling holes in plastic pots. I would worry if I was drilling, and I've done it before. I've tried to drill holes into ceramic pots and stone pots in the past, and it's such a nerve-wracking experience because they're so easy to crack, whereas this is nice and easy. Yeah, you have to, it won't just pull out.
Because you can reuse it then. Yeah. You can take it out and then pop it back in.
No, I don't think you can. You can't pull it out, but it's giving you the sign of where to push it. I don't think you can just pull it.
So it's oh no, because it.
Houseplant in it.
Oh my word!
My
he's
goodness
bringing a big
me.
houseplant in. Thank you, Stu.
Oh. Wow.
There you go.
Thank you.
You might want to put them in the middle to get more room.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Right.
Well, that's our massive, great big Areca palm.
Yeah, I'm going to stick one here.
So that is one of our big statement houseplants.
He's going off the rails today, isn't he?
It's interactive this all is. Right, there you go.
Yeah,
There's the Areca palm.
Well, let's move that one out of the way there.
That's a beautiful houseplant pot. Or we've got our big, tall yucca that could go in.
Oh,
that's
look
the
at that.
twin stem yucca.
That's nice.
That's really nice. And they're the perfect size for those plants to go in. So this could be...
Oh, we need to tell Stu something as well.
What?
Stu, if you put it in the pot, it's not that way round.
It's that way round.
It's not like that. Don't put it that way round. Put it that way round, like that.
Put it that way round.
There you go.
That's how you want to look at it. So,
I might have another 3 periods this month if I don't start being cheeky.
I love this barley planter because we've got options here, basically. We can use them as indoor pots for our indoor house plants, or if you want to just grab yourself your drill, you can actually just drill some holes in the bottom of those pots as well.
I'm going to stick this
Again,
up
they
here,
are
actually.
plastic, they are lightweight, they're UV stabilised, they're frost resistant, they're nice and easy for you to be able to use in your garden. £17.99 for one, but check out the double up deal that you've got here. If you put 2 in your basket and use the code, the second one is only £1. You get 2 for £18.99. So don't just put 1 in your basket, definitely put 2 in. Even if you only want 1 right now, the second one is only going to cost you an extra £1, so go for that second one as well. 130606. Just going to give the details of the infinity planter again, because we've been asked for it. 130283. So how many did that person order? 6 sets. So they've got 6, 12, 18,
24.
they've got 24 of them.
Yeah, wow.
So somebody has just bagged 24 of those. Bearing in mind we had 199 of them, so we've got less now, 170 something. Alistair is saying that he needs to order some more compost. Thank you. Do get hold of that. It's got postage included. And today's free gift, by the way, is our Sarah Bernhardt, the bare root peony, probably, arguably, one of the most absolutely beautiful of the peonies.
I tell you what, your Sarah Bernhardt will look good grown in this pot.
There you go, boom.
That would look nice.
Get yourself some compost, it's got postage included. Do 1 order for that and get your free gift included as well. Come back and do another order. Use the code YGTV4124. Get whatever else you want. Get to over £40. You'll have free postage and you'll get another Sarah Bernhardt bare root peony included in your order as well. Stu, where did you go this week? Did you go to Sean's garden? Sean's beautiful garden and his pub. Are we going to have a little look? There we go. Yeah, let's talk about some bark mulch while we're there.
Hello, well this is our YouGarden ornamental spruce bark mulch. It looks gorgeous actually, it's a really, really nice quality, but there are so many uses for this. It's great as a weed suppressant. So if you've got areas in your garden, beds and borders that get lots of weeds, a nice thick layer of this will just suppress those weeds. Also great as a top dressing around pots and containers. That's what I'm going to use it for here. If you've got children's play areas, it makes a nice soft cushion around those play areas, or maybe areas in your garden that you need to walk over. Having this there just makes it a lot safer and a lot easier. So I'm going to use it here. The reason being, I've got the euonymus here. And to be honest, whenever I've tried to plant things around them, they've never done that well. This is just full of roots. It really, really is. So what I'm going to do, because I just don't think it looks very nice. It looks a little bit ugly. I'm just going to do a nice thick layer of this and just see. Oh, yeah, this is going to really work. I'll tell you what, because it's autumn as well, I think that's going to look fun. Also, it is a great duvet. If you've got something that's a little bit tender, something like the anigalis that I had growing here in the summer, it's a tender perennial. So if it needs that extra protection from cold weather, then this would be absolutely superb. That looks so good, doesn't it? Really nice. Do you know what I'm amazed about? So I haven't done as thick a layer as you normally would for some other jobs, but it's amazing how far this has actually gone. And some of our regular YouGarden customers have bought several bags of this. It can really just make the whole garden look so much more neater and tidier. So I've just stood back and had a look at this from a distance. And what really struck me as well is that all the green foliage now really stands out. You've got the contrast of the green with the bark mulch, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm really pleased with that. I really should have done this many, many years ago.
Oh, that's looking so pretty, isn't it? It looks so, it's attractive, but it's also got the amazing uses of being able to create a duvet for the plants that are just that little bit more tender. It can also obviously stop any of those pesky weeds growing through as well. It's a great weed suppressant. We've still got the half price deal running on this. Elaine, I know you bought loads of bags of this. It's a great time to get hold of this. You know, neaten up those borders, neaten up the top of those pots. It's an instant difference, but of course it has those additional benefits of keeping our plants nice and cozy and warm throughout those winter months. Postage included on that one as well. So again, another way of getting hold of your free gift if you want to do that. Or maybe it's just a way of getting you to tip over that £40, entirely up to you. Now we're going to give you a reminder of everything that we've seen so far, but Adam's currently just over there, changing over. So we've got some new things to show you. There's a few garden ready plants coming up. So lots more to see. Buy one, get one free deal coming up. Let's start off with our bold deal though. It's a 3 for 2 mix and match. All you have to do is put the 3 you want in your basket, and one of those bags will be free. Starting off with our narcissus, the tete-a-tete, the dinky daffodils as I call them. It's one of the most popular of the daffodils that we bring you. Multiple flower heads per stem here, so not just one per stem. You can get multiples, and they only ever get to about 15, maybe 20 centimetres in height. They're absolutely gorgeous. They spread, they multiply, they naturalise, and they reliably come up every single year. 630-115 is the item number. What else are you adding in? What other bulbs do you want in the 3 for 2 offer? Perhaps it's the Tulip Triumph, the classic spring bulb that tell us that the lighter days are coming. The Triumph mix is a gorgeous colour mix as well. You've got the reds, the yellows, the pinks, the whites, the bi-colours included in there as well. They're the slightly taller variety of tulips, so you know the standard sort of 40-50 centimetres in height, and the beautiful cup-shaped tulips included in there as well. 600-013 is the item number. The Spring Festival mix is the next one. So you're going to get 20 of each of these bulbs. You've got the Dutch Iris, the purples, the reds, the yellows, the lavenders and the whites included. We've also got the Allium Molly. So these are the gorgeous yellow sparkler flowers. These come up slightly later. I'd say, I mean, I know we're calling it Spring Festival, but they sort of tickle into summer, these ones. And then we've also got the Triclea included in there as well. The colour combinations that you've got with all of those bulbs, I mean, it's a carefully selected collection there, working beautifully together. Just £9.99, £8.99 if you're in the club, but of course one of these bags will be free as long as you're putting 3 into your basket and entering the code YGTV4124. Now we've got the Rock Garden mix. They're rock hard, these. No, the Hardy Rock Garden Mix. I'm fascinated by this collection because I think there's 7 different varieties included in here. And they're not what I would call the classic tulip at all. I think you'd look at them, or people would look at them and say, what are they? Are they tulips? And I like something just a little bit different. Beautiful mix of shades, lovely shape that you're getting from them, totally reliable, very, very hardy, will naturalise, will come up year on year as well. So, I mean, look at that. I grew one very similar to that last year. I can't remember what it's called, but it's beautiful, honestly. 600-433 is the item number if you want one of those to be part of your mix and match. Now you have to put some of these in. You have to get some Globemaster. I mean, all right, it's only 3 bulbs in the bag, but these are the standout variety. Maybe you've already bought our Allium collection. This is not included in that collection because it's definitely one of the standout ones. Really densely packed flower heads you get on here. I loved these. Honestly, one of my favourites that I grew this year. 600-430 is the item number if you'd like to add the Globemasters into your basket. Now then, we're on to our sort of perennial plants. Remember, now's a great time to get your perennials planted. The ground's still warm, they can focus on getting their roots in the ground, and then next year, once it gets to active growth season, they don't have to concentrate so much on their roots, they can just concentrate on giving you these beautiful flowers. Agapanthus africanus blue can get quite tall as well, you know, it's one of the taller varieties, reaching, I mean, the flower stems can get to a good metre in height once they get established, and you get multiple flower heads as well. You're saving £3 here, it's £8.99. If you are a club member and you've just received your £20 worth of YouGarden vouchers and you're wondering what to spend them on, spend it on this. £8.99, apply your £5 code, you'll get that for £3.99. How cool is that? And it'll form clumps, you can divide it over the years as well, get free flowers, that's brilliant. Another one that you could get and maybe use your £5 voucher on is that magnolia. You're already getting a £12 saving here. It's £16.99, £16.19 if you're in the club. Take an extra £5 off that with your voucher and you'll get it for £11.19. It is a beautiful one. Love the colours of it. We know how gorgeous magnolia is. Sort of April, May time. It'll just get covered in these beautiful flowers. 510733 is the item number if you'd like to go for the Magnolia Fairy Blush. Oh, we're coming back. Let's have a little look at who is in the chat. And we'll then go back to our favourites. Loads of people. Right, I'm on the emails first of all, so let's have a little look. Tony, Tony, the title says asters. I took a little picture of my little, I've got 2 little aster bushes. The flowers that are coming up on the asters at the moment are absolutely incredible. So he says, hi Bex, I bought 6 aster plants from you last year. Oh, only 2 of them survived. Oh, you need to get in touch. I'm sure they're covered under our Winter Hardy guarantee. So I moved them and planted them together, and I've sent you a photo of how they look now, along with a few others. Wow. That's so big. That's amazing. I've had mine for over a year. It's nowhere near that size.
Well, funny enough, we've got some in our front garden at home that I got from YouGarden year before last, and they're doing fantastic as well.
Sorry.
They've taken a couple of years to kind of bulk
established,
up.
yeah.
But this year, in fact, John said he's going to get more because they've all of a sudden, because his front garden was going over a bit. Now these are all popping out. It looks brilliant again.
Yeah, they look absolutely
that's inspiring,
stunning.
that picture.
Oh, look at that! You've got your cordyline going on there. Which one is it? I don't know. Is it Charlie Boy? Maybe Charlie Boy.
It's a Torbay Dazzler as well. It's very similar, and
that's beautiful.
There's a few like that.
In the Laval planter there, got all your. Oh, these are all your
little begonia
perennials
there,
and things
begonia.
you've got going on.
You grow those begonias this year, Bex, didn't you? The Belgium, is it the
Belgian giant trailing. Honestly, I took a picture, I put it on my socials. There was one yellow flower that grew, it was the size of my face. It's amazing. What else you got, Tony? Oh, hang on. I keep pressing the wrong button. I shouldn't be in charge of technical today. Oh, look what we've got going on in here. Oh. That looks like a Nandina. In fact, I think that's another Nandina in there as well.
I think there's 2 of those varieties, what we've got here today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think those are all the Nandinas you've got in those pots there. You've got your red Baron bloodgrass in the back. We've got the Merlot, the Euphorbia Miner's Merlot going on in there, one of my favourite plants. Very good, Tony, well done. Elaine, my delivery has just come. Is this the bark? Okay, yeah, so that's the box with the bark mulch included in there. Love it when we get deliveries. That's one of the most exciting things, isn't it?
I love the smell of that bark mulch when you open it.
It smells really good, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Oh, and here we go. Here's a stash of bark mulch. She's got some... What have we got there? Oh, those are the Under Spring Mix bulbs. They were the free gift, weren't they? You've got loads going on there. Lovely little stash of bark mulch happening.
Caniculatus, those ones?
Yes, I think Canaliculatus was included in those. You like that name, don't you? Cheeky. Right, let's go into the YouTube chat, shall we, and see what's going on in the YouTube chat. Oh, it's Dingo, is it? Dingo is apparently owned up to buying, because we can't say it, obviously, but Dingo's owned up to buying the big stash of the infinity pots that we've got for you.
He'll have them on eBay next week for £5 each.
We don't discourage it. What are we talking about in here? Spider's web, which I only see when I walk through them. Squirrels and foxes in mine do it. What's that to do with? Oh, the least popular thing for the squirrels, the things that they don't go for. Oh, I see. We're talking about the annoying pests and things in the garden at the moment. Don't upset Spider-Man then. It's because the spider webs, you don't want web in your face.
I've actually got
you.
slugs the size of small sausages at the moment.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, they're
big, aren't they? It's the year of the slugs and the snails.
They're enormous.
I was listening to something on the radio, actually, and they were talking about, how amazing it's been this year for the slugs and the snails.
Yeah.
How they've completely taken over.
Yeah, I've never seen slugs that big.
Who's this? Elaine is saying, I need these in my garden. She's talking about the Globe Masters. You absolutely do. I have a few of the Muscari, these type, not as thuggish, good for bee flies? Butterflies. Okay, got you. Neil saying, I'm dipping in and out as at work. I'll watch fully back later on. Thank you very much, Neil. You know how much we love that. Elaine's telling us she sent a picture of my stash. I mean, she means the stash of bark mulch, obviously. And Alistair, yes, need to order more compost. Do get that order in. It's not something we run out of, but it's great to get hold of that and make sure that you've got your stash of that as well. So thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. Thank you for your emails and your pictures. We love receiving those. It's always nice to see what's happening in your gardens. And yeah, big thank you for your orders. Stu's telling me it's quite busy this morning, so that's amazing. There's always jobs to do in the garden, isn't there? And that's what we do here at YouGarden. We always try to bring you things that would look good in your garden right now. So it might be in full flower right now, but you should plant it now so that you've got it for next year. Or we're bringing you things that you should be doing right now in your garden, which might be planting your perennials, getting them, established. It might be getting your garden ready so you've got your autumn and winter colour, and moving into next year with colour as well, so it can get established. Bringing you the bulbs as well, so you get those spring bulbs popping up next year once we're through the winter.
Oh, you know what? You just really kind of gave me a little thrill of excitement then saying that, because just the thought of spring bulbs really just lifts your mood, doesn't it?
It really brings everything to life, doesn't it?
Because you kind of think of, you think, oh, we've got to go through so much winter and drudgery, but then you think, no, just don't think negative like that.
No.
Think of the joy of the bulbs at the end of it. You know?
Do you know what? I'm all right at the minute. Like, I know winter's coming, and we often I know we say about it all the time, but we're quite excited at the moment. We've got Halloween coming. We've got bonfire night coming. We've got Christmas coming. We're excited about all of those things. It's once Christmas is done, that's where we've got January and February to get through, and those are the dark, horrible months.
That's the marathon, isn't it? That
but
bit.
because we know we've got our gardens sorted out, we've planted our perennials, we've got our garden readies, we've got our spring bulbs planted. That's what's going to keep us going, isn't it?
Yeah, and the fact that, we could talk about this in a minute, but the fact that even we'll have a camellia like Yuletide, already flowering in sort of January and February, so there's already hope and colour there, isn't there?
Totally. Shall we start with camellia, actually? Let's go over here, because the femme fatale, which for any of you that was watching for a while, you know how much I fell in love with that camellia, the femme fatale. I did get one, yes, and I can't wait. It's got some fat buds on there at the moment. I can't wait to see those come out. They're beautiful. But yeah, I do love camellia because, well, with camellia you get this lovely, first of all, foliage. You get amazing foliage, and on this particular one, the Camellia Yuletide, it's really dark, glossy, evergreen foliage. Adam's showing us the quality, the health of the plants.
Yeah.
But it's when these flowers come through as well. The foliage is the perfect backdrop for those flowers. It really makes it stand out.
But I mean, you can see here, this is such a fantastically well-established plant there with that gorgeous fibrous root system. And there's an elegance, Bex, isn't there, about the foliage on camellias?
Yeah, I think so.
Just the lovely sort of simple shape of the leaves, with that little bit of sort of notching on the edge of the leaves there, and because it is evergreen, it looks good all the year through, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen some people create camellias into sort of tree shapes, removing some of the lower branches, removing some of the lower stems so that you can then underplant as well. Of course, you can just grow this into a bush. My mum's got a beautiful, God knows how long it's been there, 20 years probably, an absolutely stunning bush of Camellia Yuletide, and it's from the ground upwards, and she's got the foliage and the flowers on there as well.
And you can prune them.
It's beautiful, but you can prune it into a tree shape as well.
Yeah, easy to prune. Just tip-top bit of advice for pruning camellias, prune them immediately after they're finished flowering, because then the new wood they produce will give you flowers for the following year. So that's all you need to do. But other than that, they are so easy to look after, camellias. They don't really succumb to any pests and diseases. They're very frost hardy. Just an easy, simple plant to grow. But what is so beautiful about this one is just in that darkest time of year when you're really kind of pulling your hair out because you're so fed up with winter and all the greyness and darkness, these pop out, these fabulous, beautiful, single red flowers with those bright yellow stamens.
It's that yellow centre, isn't it?
Do you know, if they didn't have those yellow stamens, it wouldn't work.
No.
But it's just that, those bright yellow stamens against those red petals, and then the red petals against this vibrant, deep green foliage. It just makes it such a standout plant in the middle of the winter. And you might have the odd other thing in the garden flowering at the same time. You might have the odd primula that might be flowering at that point as well. There are various other little plants that might be flowering at that time, but it's just a good get you through plant. That's what I think.
Yeah, I completely agree, and a massive saving on this one as well. £15 saving. Actually, arguably, We wouldn't need to put a discount on this one at the moment. It's the perfect time to be buying this. It's the right season to be buying it. It's about to burst into life. There are so many buds that we can see on this plant, which are going to be those absolutely gorgeous flowers. So we could be charging full price for this one, but this is what we do differently here at YGTV. We will still give you the discounts even when something is at its best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in another 2 or 3 weeks' time, you'll see these in garden centres, and they'll easily be having a price of 30 quid for a plant that size. No problem at all.
Yeah. So a big £15 saving on that one, as long as you use the offer code YGTV4124. That will unlock the saving, but it will also put your free gift into your basket as well. We want to talk to you about the poppy, though. This is the Patty's Plum Poppy. It's absolutely stunning. I really love the colour of this one. It's this gorgeous kind of antique-y, lovely deep purple colour, but then you've got that centre in there as well.
I mean, just look at the picture. It's dramatic, Bex,
it is
isn't
dramatic.
it? I mean, you've got this, those layers of almost like a double flower, pretty much, really, or a semi-double flower there. Yeah, the colour is absolutely extraordinary. And talk about Beauty and the Beast, I mean, or the Ugly Duckling. I mean,
it looks like I don't know, some kind of weird animal creature, doesn't it? But this is the bare root that you're going to be receiving. Now, what you're going to do is plant that into the ground. So you're going to go a little bit below the soil surface. Probably, how deep do you go, do you reckon, with the bare root?
These, what I would do is probably only a couple of inches or so below the surface.
I don't think they go deep, do they?
No, not deep, no.
So, a couple of inches below the soil surface.
If that, really, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, I planted some, and I remember it being just below the soil surface, to be honest with you.
The thing is that the soil level will drop a little bit anyway, so, but you don't want to bury them because the growing point is already at the top there. But if you're a little bit concerned, just plant them in a pot. Just plonk them in a pot. Let them grow away next spring till they've got 4 or 5 leaves. And if you knock it out of the pot and it's got that lovely fibrous root system, then you can plant it. In fact, you know what? Sometimes it's almost better to do that, because last year I made a bit of a mistake in a customer's garden that she had an herbaceous border, but there was quite a few gaps in it, and I decided to replant those gaps in January with perennials that I got. But then by the time all the established perennials grew back in the spring, I planted the other ones too near to the original ones. Whereas if I'd have left it till the spring, I could have seen where the gap was and put it in the right place. So sometimes it's best to pot them on first and then plant them when they're grown away. That actually looked like a mandrake out of Harry Potter.
It does, doesn't it? They're very odd-looking things, but they turn into some of the most beautiful things. And of course, with bare roots, you are getting amazing value for money, because you're not paying. If you bought a potted one, you're paying for the pot, you're paying for the compost, you're paying for the time that it's taken one of our specialist growers to grow it on. With bare roots, you are getting the best value for money. It's a double up deal, so you can buy just the 1 bag, 3 bare roots for £12.99 if you want to, but if you double up, you'll get the second bag for £5. I mean, that's a pretty good deal, isn't it? So 2 lots, 6 in total for £17.99. Make sure you're using the code, though, in order to get those deals. 580059 is the item number. Next on our favourites table. Now, the favourites table, for anybody that doesn't know, this is how we start our shows on a Thursday. We pick what we think is going to be your favourites. And then you tell us which one's your favourites by buying. So if we change this over and you come back on Sunday and this table is completely different, we got it wrong. And that's fine. We do get it wrong quite a lot. Sometimes we get it perfect. We know exactly what you're going to buy. So we'll wait and see on Sunday as to which ones are the most popular. But we think these are going to be your favourites. Hardy Japanese Anemone collection. With this and the rhododendrons, just a crazy deal we've got here. It's basically a buy one, get 2 free. Because the usual price here should be nearly £30. You're actually getting all 3 of them for just under a tenner, £9.97 each. You will get the red, you will get the white, you will get the pink included. Why do we want anemones in our garden?
Because they just give the most spectacular colour from midsummer right up until now. Even on the way in, I saw a garden and there were still some white ones of these flowering away. I mean, I'm not saying they were smothered, but there was a good 15, 20 white flowers still going. So, you get good 3 or 4 months of colour from these. These are bone hardy. Once they're established, they're very drought tolerant. They might droop a bit in dry weather, but as soon as the rain comes, they perk up again. I've not found the need to stake them either. They've got really lovely, strong, stout stems that support the flowers. And sometimes, I found in my garden, when we do get a wet and a windy day, they initially kind of lean over a bit, but once the weather brightens up and they dry up, They flip back up to a nice upright position again. Loved by the pollinating insects. The bees seem to really enjoy getting in there, and the butterflies like them as well. And you've got 3 gorgeous colours there, and these ones, even though they're only 9cm pots at the moment, they've actually got flower buds on, or have already been flowering. So that tells you, what quality plants these are. Look at that. I mean, that's phenomenal, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, beautiful buds on there. I mean, look at this one right at the front here. Sorry, this one's a bit taller.
So once you set them
free,
free,
this massive, great big one up here. I mean, there's one there, but there's also this big one up here as well.
And 2 of these Bex have got an AGM, an Award of Garden Merit as well.
They have, haven't they? In fact, 2 of them have. It's just the Whirlwind, which is that the white one?
Yeah.
The white one's the Whirlwind, isn't it?
So we've got the Prince Heinrich, which has got if I can say it, an Award of Garden Merit, and then we've got Queen Charlotte that's also got the AGM as well. And that's awarded by the Royal Horticultural Society to plants that have just had the most amazing attributes.
Yeah, they really have. 480128 is the item number. Buy 1, get 2 free is the deal that we've got here for you. It's £9.97. You will get all 3 of those under that item code. Same deal on the rhododendrons as well. So lovely 3 colours. Again, the red, the white, the pink included. And they come in the 9cm pots. Yeah, Stu's like, but these are rhododendrons, but the Japanese azalea, they're pretty much the same thing,
I think what they've done now is they've classified. I think they just classify everything now as rhododendrons.
Yeah.
I think they've dropped the azalea thing. Yeah,
they're basically the same plant.
They are pretty much basically the same plant. Yeah. I don't know. It's almost a bit like narcissus and daffodils. You're kind of saying the same thing twice in one way.
To our all intents and purposes, it's the same plant. You don't need to worry about the difference between them.
So pretty much, I think they're just calling everything rhododendron now.
Yeah. But these are fantastic because they are evergreen plants, and the foliage you get on them is really glossy and green and slow growing as well, which I love.
Look how beautiful these are. I mean, you can see the light reflecting off the foliage on those Bex. I mean, what I'm going to do, got myself in a bit of a stew there.
Getting all excited, Adam.
No, what I want to do is I just want to whip one out of the pot.
Yeah, go for it. Get yourself excited with the roots.
They normally have a bit of a darker... Oh, look at that. I mean, that's insanity, isn't it? I mean, look at the root system on that.
Really good root system on there.
That's just phenomenal.
And raring to grow, basically, and this is the quality that we bring you at YouGarden. We do bring you well-grown plants. We do have specialist growers on site who look after the plants, make sure they're in the best condition before we send them out to you.
And we've got the blouse pink, we've got the geisha red, we've got the geisha white, 3 stunning colours there as well. And in the spring, you don't see the foliage on these, do you? Because the flowering is insane, isn't it?
They're very much an attention-grabbing flower, aren't they? They're very much the theatre darling. Oh. They're the ones that want the attention. Look at me! Look at me!
Absolutely. you can't ignore these in the spring. And these will look like this for a good 4 to 6 weeks. From the buds first opening to the last flowers dropping off, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And they get bigger and bigger incrementally year on year. They don't zoom away like crazy. If you haven't got ericaceous compost, they make fabulous pot plants. And they do quite well in quite cool, damp, sort of semi-shady kind of areas as well. If you think of the sort of places where your Japanese anemones do very well, Japanese maples do very well, that's where your azaleas would do well.
Isn't it azaleas, they don't like morning sun? I'm sure it's azaleas that don't like. Essentially, dappled shade is absolutely fine, but I think it's something to do with morning sun they don't like.
Yeah, and also camellias like that as well, because sometimes if you get a frost on the flowers and you get the morning sun, the flower defrosts too quick.
Exactly, yeah.
It discolours the flower.
Yeah.
So, and azaleas would be the same.
There you go. I knew I'd pulled that little nuggets from somewhere. It's right at the back there. It had to come out. 510804 is the item number. It's £9.97, all 3 included in that deal. Make sure you are a club member as well, because if you are, you'll not only get that £20 discount, but you'll also get another 10% off there as well. So £8.97. And I know I've said it a few times today, but I just want to highlight, if you are a member of that discount club and you've just received your vouchers, I know a lot of people who watch YGTV, they joined at roughly this time last year. We've been going just over a year now, so I know there's a big influx of people receiving those vouchers at the moment. You could get that collection for just under £4. Like, that's just crazy, isn't it?
That's mad. I mean,
£3.97, I think, is what. Yeah, £3.97 is what you'd pay if you applied one of those vouchers. If you're not a member of the club, now is the time to do it. You can get your discounts on your first order. The vouchers will be sent out to you in the post. You'll be able to spend those very, very soon. There's a little box that comes up when you place your order. It says, "Would you like to save an extra depending on how much you've ordered. Click yes. Cost you £5 to join today. It's a one-off cost. That lasts you for the 12 months, and you'll save 10% every time you place an order in the next 12 months, which is brilliant.
And like all thing you tell me is where it never goes up.
Yeah.
Stays the same price.
If we ever put the price of the club up to, say, 20 quid, which I think is what we're supposed to be, as long as you're on the auto-renewal, you'll only ever pay that £5. So we're not trying to tie you in and then we're going to put the price up next year like phone companies do. And
so
all
if
the
you
rest of
take
it.
inflation into account, then probably, you know, that's only costing you like £4,
Yeah.
Eventually, isn't it? Or
Absolutely.
£3.50 or something, because we're not increasing it with inflation.
So do think about joining the club if you're not already a member. We've got over 45,000 members of that club, by the way. So, you know, it's not like there's just a few people that are taking advantage of it. There's a lot of people that take advantage of that club. Right, something a little bit quirky, a little bit unusual. This is not an outdoor plant. This is an indoor plant. I mean, you could take it outdoors in the summer. You can take your little indoor plants outside for a little holiday in the summer, but this is an indoor one. It is the Jumbo Venus flytrap. It is jumbo because it comes in a big pot. In actual fact, there are 3 plants in that pot. A lot of places where you buy this, you'll only get the 1 plant. It is a... why do I always forget this word? Carnivorous plant. So it's going to feed itself, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you did put it outside now, it could catch the squirrels. What is it? Is that overselling it?
That might be overselling it a little bit. It's
no,
not that big.
it won't catch squirrels.
It won't catch squirrels.
But it is an incredible plant because there's so many weird things about this plant. First of all, you can't believe that a plant eats meat. You know, a plant's eating living creatures, and I just can't. I can never get my head round how these traps just work like they work. I mean, they just close up like somebody closing their hand. It's bizarre. You don't think of a plant moving that quickly, do you? When you think of plants, you think of them growing or moving imperceptibly. But I mean, these just move in an instant. And the reason they've had to do this is because where they grow naturally, they grow in really boggy soils that are so depleted of nutrients that they can't get what they need from the ground through their roots. So they've turned to eating insects that are flying by, and they will catch flies and all sorts of little insects in these traps. It takes about 10 to 12 days to digest them, and that's how they supplement their diet. It's mind-blowing.
So Stu was just telling me, apparently, who was it in the chat who was talking about the bee flies earlier? Stephen, I'd never heard of bee flies before. I've seen them, but I've never realised that that's what they're called. So thank you for educating me on that one today. But yeah, it can catch the bee flies, it can catch the flying insects, anything that lands on it, and it will catch them and eat them.
Are those bee flies those horrible little ones that really bite?
They look like bees. They're fuzzy little things.
Oh no,
they look like bees, but they're not bees.
Something else.
I've just looked it up quickly while Adam was talking there. I've seen them. I just never knew they were called bee flies. So. Always a lesson here at YGTV. Where are we going? Oh, we're going to go over to the Gardenia collection next. This is one I've had my eye on for ages.
Just follow your nose with these.
Well, I've had my nose on it, yeah.
Wow.
And these are actually in flower, so let me... Oh, my word. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous.
It's good, isn't it? I actually...
The smell on that.
So I've got a couple of customers who run their own perfume
Adam,
business.
Have a little smell just to...
Oh, Bex.
Doesn't that make you happy?
Yeah.
He's not getting his nose out of
That
it.
is good. That is good.
So I've got a couple of perfumes that have got gardenia in, and it is that smell.
Well, I was going to say, I've got some customers, and they run their own perfume-making business, and they use gardenia in their perfumes.
Yeah, it's used a lot in perfumes. In
Yeah.
fact, there's a very expensive one that I can't afford. It's Gucci, basically. And they've got a gardenia perfume, and every time I go into Boots, I have a little spray.
I said that at the airport. I never used to
little
buy
spray.
them. Just used to have a spray down before I got on the plane.
Oh, that is incredible. You're going to get all... And it's a hardy collection as well. So gardenias... Some gardenias aren't hardy, are they? But these are.
Yeah, again, it's that weird thing, because I remember when we first talking about gerberas being hardy. I was like, oh, come on. You know... Oh. They're an indoor flower, they're an indoor cut flower, and gardenias, they're a house plant, hardy to -10. Can you believe it? Hardy to -10 Celsius.
I'm going to get this collection. I'm going to use my Sorry. Sorry, I was totally interrupted you then, and I'm shopping.
No, I mean, yeah, you've got to go for it. I mean, we've got 3 types here. We've got Pinwheel, we've got Climbs Hardy, and we've got Crown Jewel as well. So 3 stunning, beautiful plants in this collection. Evergreen as well. They've always got the glossy foliage, even when the flowers aren't on there. but I mean, it's the purity of the
can't get
colour
over
of the
that
flowers. I would say it's got to be one of the nicest plant fragrances in the world.
It's a lovely sweet scent.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Oh, I'm totally into the fragrance. I'm totally into fragrant flowers now. What are those ones I grew? Tall stems. Oh my god.
Oh yes, I know what you mean.
Planted as bulbs earlier on in the year.
Yeah, sometimes they can be pink, but normally they're white.
That's it. Tuberose. There you go.
Tuberose. That's it.
Tuberose, which is another one that's used. So I've planted those for the first time this year, and I was absolutely blown away by the fragrance. And gardenia for me is right there along with that fragrance.
Well, tuberose are another one used by the perfume industry as well, for making high-end perfume. So you are talking about plants here with fragrances and scents that are world-renowned and used for making fabulous fragrances and perfumes.
I love that we've got flowers on these ones now. So do you know what the usual flowering time for them is?
Springtime would be the normal flowering time.
So this is odd that this is throwing up flowers
now.
now.
Well, again, no, I mean, all weird sort of things happen these days as well. It's like sometimes we were talking about what was we talking about earlier on? And I said we'll send out odd, like the magnolia.
Magnolia, that was it. Yeah.
Sometimes you will get plants that will send out odd flowers now and again, but I mean, I think some of these varieties we've got here do tend to flower kind of over a more of a spread out period. They're not like, say, like an azalea where you'll just get sort of 6 weeks and then that's it. So they will tend to sort of flower a little bit more spread out, be a bit more free flowering.
All right, well, all three of those included. Beautiful varieties, glossy green, deep green coloured leaves, pure white, gorgeous, fragrant flowers on there as well. Relatively compact as well, and quite slow growing too.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I've kind of seen, when I've looked at these, they tend to get to sort of shrubs, I don't know, but only about sort of 1.5 foot, kind of 2 foot tall.
Yeah, they don't get massive.
No.
So if you had a big pot or somewhere in a border, you could plant them together, couldn't you?
Yeah,
I think we're being asked that question. Is that right? By Julia?
Yeah, you could. To be honest, I would plant them separate. I'd plant them give them a pot each.
Right.
Because then you've got three, like Stu just said, you've got three plants to spread out with all that lovely fragrance. And also, if it's 3 sort of different varieties, then they might just have a slightly different sort of growing habit and different sort of rate of growth, which could look a bit odd in a pot. So I would give them their own pot, but they certainly don't need a much bigger pot than that to begin with. Just another sort of couple of sizes bigger.
Okay, they're going in my basket. I brought this collection multiple times here at YGTV. I've often said I would like those in my garden. I did say this morning I've got no room, but I'm going to find room. I am going to find room for those because that scent is absolutely incredible. Let's start off with our garden readies then. We're going to start at Adam's end here. The deal that we've got here is a buy one, get one free. They come in 10 packs. So you'll get a pack of 10. You can mix and match. If you want 2 lots of the Hollyhock Traitors mix, so 20 of them, fine, 1 pack will be absolutely free. But again, just like the bulbs, we've got that mix and match deal for you. So it might be that 20 hollyhocks are too many, but you want 10 of those and you want 10 of the Pansy Cool Wave berries and cream mix. It's up to you. Just put the 2 you want into your basket, enter the code YGTV4124. 1 pack is going to be free. Are they all the same price, Stu? Do we need to worry about which one's going to be? We think they're all the same price. Basically, if they are slightly different price, it'll be the lower priced one that will be free. Are they all the same? Amazing. Don't even need to worry about it then. Just 1 pack will be free. Hollyhocks. Now, this is what I fell in love with this year. I don't have them in my garden, but they grow all over the place where I live. Like, loads of houses have got hollyhocks growing, and this year seemed to be an amazing year for hollyhocks.
Yeah, they went berserk this year. I don't know why, because they do quite well in dry summers, but they seem to
just love it this year for some reason.
Absolutely loved it. I mean, you see the quality of this plant here as well. Fantastic root system on that little plant, and these will flower for you next year.
Yeah.
I know that seems hard to believe, but if you get these in the garden now, they'll establish, they'll even grow a little bit more in the next 3 or 4 weeks before the winter weather really kicks in. If the leaves were slightly bigger, they would probably go yellow and die off, but chances are these smaller leaves might even pretty much stay like that till the spring, and then next spring they'll start to zoom away, and all of a sudden, probably by about the end of April, May time, you'll start to see a central shoot come up from the rosette of leaves, and they will flower for you next year, and you'll be astounded by these. My other half, John, in his front garden, grew a whole load of these at the end of our bungalow 2 or 3 years back, and they were from YouGarden. Oh, Bex, they were absolutely phenomenal. They got 8, 9, 10 foot tall. They flowered for month after month after month. And what we found is sometimes people think hollyhocks are biennial, but with some of them, when they finish flowering, we cut them down, and then they had kind of little pups at the base, and they came back again the following year and gave us another display.
Oh, amazing! So
yeah, and the colour range on these is magnificent. Really, really gorgeous, super double flowers. Just give drama, colour, excitement. There's just one thing as well. I think it did say on our website, use them as a cut flower. Don't do that. They wilt really badly if you cut them and put them in a vase. Yeah. So
don't like it.
Yeah, don't like being cut.
Okay.
So yeah, just leave them in the garden and enjoy them outside.
Absolutely, they're stunning and they get really tall and beautiful. Big fan of those, and it is in the mix and match deal. So it's up to you. Maybe you want 20 of them. I kind of want 20 of them. Nice sunny spot though, right? Yeah,
they like sun, yeah. And don't worry about the soil. I mean, again, when I was a kid, I always thought hollyhocks like really rich soil, and I dug in loads of manure and stuff, and ended up with massive, great big rhubarb-sized leaves.
Yeah, not many flowers.
Not many flowers.
They actually want to be treated a bit mean.
Yeah, they will grow. The poorer the soil, the better the flower with hollyhocks.
Absolutely. All right, so that's number 1 of our mix and match garden readies. Number 2 is the Pansy Cool Wave, and this is the berries and cream mix. Love Pansy Cool Wave, the other one that we bring you that's got the sort of yellowy colours included, but I just think this one's got a slight edge on that because you've got the berries and cream. It's very much about the purples and the whites, and that colour combination I think is quite high end.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really classic. It's stately. It's sophisticated. It looks great. Sometimes you might want a mix that sort of clashes a bit and sort of smacks you around the face and is really kind of, in your face kind of thing. But this is soft. This is well coordinated. Some of these little flowers actually have a bit of a fragrance to them as well.
They do, yeah.
You have to get your nose right in, and these will trail a little bit as well, which is nice. And these almost seem to be flowering for longer than they're not. I mean, they do flower for a long, long period of time.
They can keep going. We often say up to 10 months of the year. I think if you get 10 months, you're doing incredibly well, but certainly you're going to get 7 or 8 months of flowers out of these. You can see the flowers that are on there right now. Once you get these plants, and they're garden ready, and it's really important to get them in the ground now. You don't want to leave it too late. They'll be fine if you planted them at the end of November. They'll survive. They're ridiculously winter hardy, but you do want to get them in the ground sort of, now-ish, so that they've got that little bit of time to really establish before the really cold weather comes. And then you'll get even more beauty from them. Loads and loads of flowers. A lot of people treat them as annual plants, but you can actually treat them as perennials. Cut them back in the summertime once they've given up flowers. Just put them out of the way somewhere a little bit shady and then bring them back out, and you should be able to get them to come back again next year. I say most people treat them as annuals, and particularly at this price you can do, can't you? So it's your choice. Go for a pack of 10 along with another pack of 10, or maybe you just want 20 of the Pansy Cool Wave berries and cream. It's up to you. It's in the mix and match deal. Mrs. Scott Elliott, the Aqualegia, is the next one that we've got in that mix and match deal. Now these are just, they're quite unusual flowers, aren't they? Kind of weird and wonderful.
They are. I love Aqualegias, and they are really good perennial. Lady's bonnet, I think, is a common name for these. These are really good perennial for shade. They do well in shade. So if you've got a north-facing border, for example, and they're tough. They are tough, and they seed about, and they'll come up all over the place, which is absolutely magnificent. And sometimes you end up with your own hybrids because they kind of cross-pollinate and create their own little varieties. I've always adored Aqualegias. They come up in the spring. First thing you get in the spring is this really lovely mound of like filigree kind of foliage.
Yeah,
that looks,
it's quite interesting foliage,
looks
isn't it?
Really, almost looks a bit like French parsley. It's got that kind of parsley kind of look to it. And then you see these lovely, strong, stout stems come up through the middle and just get these heads of fabulous flowers in mixed colours that are just, it's so unusual looking, the flowers as well, that sort of like neck coming down at the back of the flower there. And these are tough plants. They're drought tolerant, they're shade tolerant, they're hardy, they'll get through any winters, they're not particularly fussed about soil.
They look really tropical. They look like they want a sunny spot, don't they? But they'll do
okay in sun, but they do well in shade as well. They are, they look magnificent, but they are the easiest, simplest plant to grow, Aqualegias. You just plonk them where you want them to grow, and you'll have them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They come up year after year.
Deadhead, though, is my big tip.
Deadhead.
I did start deadheading this year, and then I sort of gave up on it, and the plants just stopped flowering. So it is important just to do a bit of deadheading to make sure you keep getting those flowers coming through.
And again, look at the root system.
Amazing.
Every one of these has got that immediate, amazing root system, so you can get these straight into the ground.
This is what the garden ready means. They've been grown onto to the point where you can plant them straight out. We're not asking you to do any growing on your windowsills or in your greenhouses. Garden ready means exactly that, ready to go in your garden. That's number 3 of your garden ready selection, the mix and match. Number 4 is the Erigeron, the Sea of Blossom. I got it, you got it, Sean's got it, we've all got it, right?
Yeah.
You need garden ready, well, you need Erigeron in your garden, basically. It's a fantastic plant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing is, it changes colours. Well, you look at the picture there and you think, oh, that's nice. They've included a pink variety and a white variety.
Yeah, no.
But no, it's literally the flowers change colour. So they start off like pure white, and then that is the right way around because I get this the wrong way around every time.
Yeah, white first and then turns pink.
They start white and then they turn pink as the flowers age. They'll seed about. And these will grow in the most, again, a bit like the Aquiledias, these will grow in the most...
Cracks in the ground.
They grow almost growing dust, don't they? I mean, you can almost grow them on a washing line. Honestly, these are the easiest thing to grow, and they flower for months and months and months.
Oh, hang on. We've got a question from Neil first about the Aquiledias. Let's go back to those for a second. Do they die back down on their own, or do you need to trim them?
All I'll do is when the flower stem's finished, cut that down, and then what you'll see about this time of year, in another couple of weeks' time, the foliage turns a lovely buttery yellow, really, really bright yellow, and then it will just collapse and it will just disintegrate. So you just leave them.
I just leave mine. I don't do anything. All I do is make sure I keep on top of that deadheading, which I didn't this year. Bit of deadheading, and then just leave them to do their thing. They'll come back for you. We'll go back to the Erigeron, and let's go and have a look in Sean's beautiful garden.
Well, this is where I've put Erigeron in my garden, because this whole board, I'll be honest, it's very rubbly. Haven't really worked out quite what to do with it, but I wanted ground cover. And there's only about 3 plants here. They've been here a couple of years, and they just flower all summer long for 6-7 months of the year. And what I've done, I've actually extended. So now, because they did so well then, this is often a tip. If you see a plant doing well, then you might want to repeat it somewhere nearby or get a similar variety. So I've actually just planted a few more plants along here. And the great thing is they will just flower and flower all summer long. Each plant can get up to about 1 metre by metre. The flowers change colour, so sometimes they're white, sometimes they're dark pink, light pink. And at the end of the year, all I'll do is literally trim them back, and we'll do it all again next year and the year after and the year after. It's known as Mexican fleabane. That's the popular name for it. And it's one of those plants that will tolerate a very poor soil, likes lots of sun, and needs very little love and attention. It's just a brilliant ground cover plant that will flower all summer long and produce thousands of flowers. And they're like little daisies, which I love.
So, yeah, you can see how valuable it is, depending... I mean, it doesn't matter if you've got a lovely big garden like Sean or a small garden. Actually, it's a really valuable plant to have because it flowers for months on end. Honestly, you can get... I mean, actually, with that, I reckon you could get a good 9 months worth of flowers out of that.
Yeah, you can. And
about 8-9 months.
And it does grow in the same places because where our bungalow is, we've got a drive that's block paved to the edge of the bungalow wall. And there's a gap about that wide between the block paving and the bungalow
and
wall.
It's growing through, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're growing out of that little gap there down the side of the bungalow.
My big one that I've got with my Erigeron, and it was a total accident. Didn't mean for this to happen, but it's definitely a planting scheme that I'm going to use in the future when I move to my new house. I'm going to get geranium roseanne. I'm going to get Erigeron. I'm going to plant those 2 things next to each other. This was quite early on in the season. I should have got another picture once the geranium roseanne came out. But the 2 things have just mingled into each other, and it is the perfect combination. I should stop saying it's an accident. Yeah, I meant to do it. I totally knew that'd be so good. But it really does look beautiful together. So there's so many different things you could do with those. Just a pot of them all by themselves would look amazing as well. Stop smelling that. That's mine. Right, just need to remind you of that gardenia in actual fact, because I think it has started to go incredibly popular. I'm not surprised. Please save me a pack. Don't order them all. I would like to get some of those as well. Oh, my word.
That's so nice, isn't it?
That is such a delicious smell. And, of course, you're getting all 3 varieties. You've got the pinwheel, the crown jewel, and Climbs Hardy are the 3 different ones that you're getting included in there. Glossy evergreen leaves, beautiful white flowers, and just incredibly, incredibly fragrant. 511452 is the item number. Grab that one while you can. It sounds like it's going crazy, which is why we've just had to give you another reminder. Save me one, Stu. Don't let them all go. Oh, we're all right, are we? Good, we're fine for stock. All right, let's bring you on to one that was popular for us just a few weeks ago. And this came from a request, I think it was Karen that asked for some Nandinas. So thank you, because that means that we were able to bring it forward. Ryan said, sure, we can get that on the show for you. And loads of people actually got hold of these. Ryan. I know you're a big fan of Nandina in your professional capacity as a gardener.
Yeah, sometimes when I start to think about a planting scheme for somebody, and then I get through quite a number of shrubs, and then sometimes you get like almost equivalent of writer's block, thinking about, and then every time Nandina,
Nandina,
because it's a plant that does well in full sun. It's a plant that will tolerate a bit of shade. It's a plant that's evergreen. It's a plant that flowers. It's a plant that has berries. It's a plant that comes back year after year. It's a plant that is compact. It's a plant that has got a lovely slow growth rate to it. It's not going to go berserk like a buddleia, for example, and take over in one season. And not only is it evergreen, but it's ever red and it's ever cream and it's ever other colours as well, because it's ever interesting, because the foliage is always doing something at a different time. I mean, I'm just going to lean it forward, the one we've got in the studio for you. You can see here, I mean, look at the mixture there of colours in that foliage, Bex.
And it's going to get even better as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you get the new growth and it sort of changes colour with the changing seasons, with the cold and the temperatures that we get. Is this the variegated variety? No, yes, it is the variegated variety. So that's what's really interesting on here, is that you get that gorgeous variegation on the leaves as well. So not only have you got the colours, but you've got the variegation as the extra added interest.
Yeah, and they all kind of tend to have this habit as well. The new foliage comes through bright red.
Yeah.
And then those colours sort of tone down, and eventually you as you move further down the plant, you can see the different colours kicking in.
And of course, once it grows, you get flowers and you get berries on here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they have lovely little sort of flat heads. If you imagine like a cow parsley kind of flower, they have flower heads a bit like that, kind of small little flower heads. And if you're lucky and they get pollinated, you end up with red berries later in the year. And I've seen them do that, but they're just such an easy shrub to grow, very undemanding, but just giving you so many different attributes to these plants.
Great if you've got smaller gardens as well. So obviously great for any garden, but I am going to point out the smaller garden thing, because in a smaller garden you need those plants to work really well for you. You can't have too many things in a small garden that are deciduous, herbaceous, don't look good for periods of time in the year, because it really stands out in a smaller garden.
Yeah.
You can get away with that in a bigger garden, because obviously there's more things to look at. But smaller gardens, I think this is a really valuable one, and it doesn't take over. It stays relatively compact.
Yeah, and it's sort of great in a pot as well. It looks absolutely fantastic in pots, which is good.
And did we say it's under a tenner today? It's £9.99. It is an extra 10% discount as well if you're in the club. So £8.99. Again, if you've got one of those £5 vouchers, it's £4.99. How cool is that? Right, let's take you on to, a workhorse. There are certain things that, okay, they're thrillers, they're stunners, you need this for that reason. And I think that this does sort of fall into that category as well, because in springtime, not spring, in fact, late winter, I remember looking at my Photinia and the colours that were coming through on that Photinia when everything was looking a bit dark and dreary. I'm talking probably late February. And it was so red, the bright red colour that was coming through of the leaves on here, it really was a standout shrub in my garden. Yeah,
I've got I should have sent it to Stu actually, I've got a video, I think I might have sent it to Stu, but I've got a video of a variety of Photinia that I took off in the spring, and it's a hedge, and it is, I mean, it looks like it's almost on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, the redness is...
flames.
Absolutely flames. And it's a bit like the Nandina we were just talking about as well. In fact, they're quite similar in the sense that, they've got that sort of new foliage that comes through a reddish colour, then it sort of tones down to the green. You've got the lovely flower heads as well.
Yeah, which are fragrant too. I didn't realise how fragrant they are.
Yeah,
they have a lovely fragrance.
Yeah, they do have a fragrance. Sometimes when they flower, they tend to be a bit of a taller shrub sometimes, so you don't always get the sort of the flowers at nose height. But I know from when I've sort of pruned or shaped some of them, they do have a lovely fragrance. And then they've just got this evergreen looks. They look good all the year through, and the flowers as well. A bit like we were saying with the Nandina, they will have lovely red berries if they're pollinated. So, in fact, these two make good bedfellows actually, the Nandina, because this is the smaller type of Photinia as well. You've got the big red robin that might get sort of 2 or 3, 4 metres. This one's much more compact.
Mine's the big one. I trimmed it the other day, actually. I was out there because I didn't do it last year, so it really needed it this year. And now's a good time, by the way, to trim your photinias, because you don't want to chop off any of that new growth. So if you do it now, the new growth that will come through will be bright red. Let's have, because we're missing Sean today, aren't we? He's just taken a little break, but we did have a little clip of film of him out on the nursery floor from a little while back towards the end of the summer. Let's see what he has to say about the Photinia.
One of my favourite plants in my garden are my Photinias, particularly my red ones, and they're known as red robin. But sometimes Photinia red robin can be several metres high. You can even do hedges in it, can't you? This particular variety is a lot more compact. It's called Photinia Little Red Robin. And the reason being, this will only ever grow to around about 60 to 80 centimetres. So you've got maybe a smaller garden. If you want to maybe grow the Photinia Little Red Robin in pots, you can certainly do that. But what you'll still get is all that incredible coloured foliage. And right now on the nursery, there's so much new growth on the Photinias. You have just got this carpet of red, and then the older leaves, that lovely green, and the contrast is simply breathtaking. And what I love about Photinia, it looks good all year round. It's evergreen, it is fully winter hardy. You do get the little flowers as well, the little white flowers, but this is predominantly grown for its exquisite foliage. And the great news is there's now this smaller, compact variety called Photinia Little Red Robin.
So there he is on a lovely, bright, sunny day out in the nursery. Photinias are genuinely just an amazing workhorse. And, of course, you've got the smaller variety here, so that just might work really well in your gardens. 500134 is the item number. And we've taken a third off the price for you and an extra 10% discount for you if you are in the club. Go on.
I was going to say to Stu not to... Oh, he's done it already. He beat me to it.
Don't change it.
I was going to say, don't change yet, because
right.
I was going to get you to guess how many.
We've got the Infinity planter. It's the black copper available for you. It is an incredible deal. Last week we brought you this deal. It was one of the most popular things that we brought you. We sold over 300 last week, and we've got less than 200 available. In fact, we've got less than that now because was it Dingo? Dingo placed an order for loads of these earlier. He's taken a lot of them. It's a buy one get 3 absolutely free. So at that deal where you'll get 4 basically in one order, we've got less than 40 orders of this remaining. So I bet there's more than 40 people watching right now. If you all want to get hold of this, you can do. But there'll be some of you that will miss out, basically. So put 1 in your basket, 130283. When you enter the code YGTV4124, you will get another 3 put into your basket absolutely free. So in the club, that's £17.19. That's less than £2 each.
Yeah.
Now, just think about that. If you walked into a garden centre and you saw a pot of that beauty, that size, and it said, special offer, £1.80 each, or whatever these work out at, you'd be like, yes, please. I'll have 20 of them, thank you very much, because I'll find a use for those. You would, wouldn't you?
You would. And the thing is, these aren't cheap, naff, nasty plastic pots. And I say that because I used to hate plastic pots, because they used to be naff and nasty.
They did used to be.
And cheap looking.
And you can still buy those cheap, naff, nasty plastic pots as well. And I've seen them in the garden centres, and I always walk past them like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Horrible.
Don't buy those, because that's bad plastic.
It is. And
it is adding to the plastic waste in the world, honestly, because you'll have them for a season, they'll get brittle and cracked, and then you'll throw them away.
I've even seen those ones before as well, that like that, and all of a sudden they just split. Like if you lift them up a few times, they just crack on the rim at the top either side. These are UV stable, these are frost resistant. I mean, look at the decoration on the side there. I mean, not just a plain coloured pot, but you've got that burnished kind of decoration on the side, which looks amazing. You've got the little lip there as well, which is also nice when you pick the pot up, because that just gives you that extra bit of grip, doesn't it, on there? You've got your drainage holes as well, but also you've got your little reservoirs at the side there, so they're not going to get waterlogged, but they're going to hold on to a bit of extra water for you as well, so they're not going to dry out too super quick. And of course, if you're like Mandy and you live 5 floors up and you've got a balcony, you don't want really heavy stone pots or pots like that. You want something lightweight like this. They're just awesome, aren't they? And they're just the right size, Bex, aren't they, for so many different things.
Well, I mean, the gardenias.
Ooh.
That would be a lovely home. If you've got 4 of these, you can use 3 of those for the gardenias. That would be the perfect home for these for several years, in actual fact, wouldn't it?
I'm going to hold it up a bit because
I'm going to buy those gardenias, so I might just get myself the black pots as well. Have I said? I haven't mentioned it, have I? But I might just get myself the black pots. I'll use 3 of them for the gardenias and then 1 for something else.
See what a classic look that's going to be,
That's
because
gonna be so classic.
you've got the dark pots, you've got the super glossy foliage, and you've got that beautiful white
That's it,
flower.
that's my next order placed.
That's going to look so good.
Lovely.
Oh, God. So,
That is such a good smell.
I know. It's like, it's addictive, isn't it?
Oh
It's,
my word!
wow.
Yeah. 130283. If you want to get hold of your infinity planters in the black copper, buy 1 get 3 absolutely free. Maybe you want something a bit bigger. Maybe you want something actually that's going to be good for outdoors if you drill some holes in it, but also for indoors. These do not have the pre-drilled drainage holes in, but easy to drill holes in these because I know they look like stone, but they're not. They're made of plastic.
They are, but I mean, again, they are really stunning. And what I've really kind of caught my attention on these is they've got this lovely kind of, if you like, oatmeal-y colour on the outside, and then look, that gorgeous classic sort of brown on the inside.
Yeah, I like that.
Makes them look really high-end, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
And
they've got a lovely texture to them as well. So they're not flat, are they?
No.
They've got a lovely sort of tactile texture to them that makes them look like stone.
It does. I mean, because the thing is, you say they're not even on the top, are they? I mean, it literally looks like, you know, that has just been made because it's not all uniform, and even kind of like those little tiny sort of faux cracks in the pot as well, kind of make it look like a real stone pot, don't they? Because that's what stone pots do, don't they? Tend to sort of crack, and you get those little kind of little defects in there.
Yeah.
And even the double rim on the top is another nice detail. So somebody's really thought about these, and like we say, if you had plants in these in the garden and you had these in your front garden and you were walking past this garden on your way to work, you would not walk past that and say, ooh, plastic pot.
No.
You would think that was a stone pot.
There's no way you'd be able to tell. We put a couple of our houseplants in them, so we've got the massive, these are our statement plant houseplants. We've got the big twin stem yucca, we've got the big areca palm in here. So of course you could use these for your indoor plants if you into that, but you could also use these for outdoors. You just need to drill a few drainage holes in the bottom. Nice and easy to do, particularly when we're talking about plastic pots. The deal, you need to just be aware of this. It's £17.99 for 1 of them. Great. Put 2 in your basket, enter the code YGTV4124. The second one is £1.
That's insane.
Double up deal for £18.99. So they're £9.50 each, which is really good price.
Because sometimes we do have the prices on the bottom, don't we? There isn't on the. Sometimes we have prices on the bottom, and we turn them over, and sometimes the price we were doing 1 for is what you get 2 or 3 for.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are so nice, beautiful.
All right, 130606 is the item number if you want to go for those. We need to bring you back to our best-selling item that we bring you at YouGarden. It's been incredibly popular today, and we often talk about this. In actual fact, when we talk about the compost, we say that it's the bestseller throughout the year. We sell loads and loads of this compost, but there are 2 peak times when we sell a lot: springtime and autumn right now, and there's definitely been a bit of a rush on this today. People are clearly stocking up. You're clearly getting your spring bulbs planted. You're doing your perennial planting. Now is the time to get hold of it for all of those different reasons, and also because this is packed with amazing ingredients, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about this. Now, first thing to say about this is a massively peat reduced compost as well, and that's something that we did ages ago, long before we started doing it. But when you take something away, you need to add something back in, and we've added in that composted wood fibre, and that does so many things. First of all, it keeps the compost really nice and open and airy, so the plants can get air, they can get oxygen to their roots. That's really important. Also, it allows the water to percolate through really easily, but it prevents the compost from getting too waterlogged, which is fantastic. But just imagine if you're a little tiny seed, or you're a little tiny plug plant, and you want to make your way in life, this compost is phenomenal, because you can so easily get your roots down into this compost, and once you do, as a plant, you're going to find these little slow release beads in here that are covered, that are filled with a fertiliser that will feed your plant for up to 6 months. And you can see there's little green balls there that the slow release feed. So it's not like one of those high energy drinks that's a big woof of energy and then it all fizzles out. These are going to feed and encourage your plant over a long period of time. We've got a wetting agent in here as well. So this means your compost is known as something called hydrophilic. It loves water. It likes to absorb the moisture. It doesn't want to repel it. And it's pH balanced. So that means it's not too acid, it's not too alkaline. It's going to suit a really, really large amount of plants. And if you want an ericaceous version, for some of the ericaceous plants we've had on today, we've got an ericaceous version as well. So it's exactly the same thing, but it's sort of an acidic-based one, whereas this is more kind of neutral.
So tell us, you were doing something, you told us earlier, the story, you repotted a big trough.
Yeah. Well, you saw in the video there, Sean had a big wooden trough, and I had a big wooden trough at the end of my garage with a campsis or trumpet vine in, and it was too shallow and it kept drying out, and I just couldn't keep it wet.
So the plant wasn't doing so well.
The plant wasn't thriving, so I got rid of the trough, put it out the front. My other half's going to plant it up with tulips, and then I went off and I got myself. It was a bit expensive, but I got this great big pot.
Yeah,
I did.
You deserve it.
Yeah, I treated myself.
You deserve it.
About this wide, about this high, and then 2 or 3 bags of the compost in the bottom.
Yep.
Then I put the campsis in, another bag round the top, and I just know now this campsis is going to romp away next year, because what I kept finding this year is I'd give it a drink, and then a few days later it was all kind of wilting. And
but you were standing, so you refilled it with this compost,
yes,
and you're standing there with the hose pipe.
That was the thing. That's the bit I forgot. Yeah, so I filled the pot. So then I decided to give it a drink, and honestly, I'm not exaggerating. I got my hose, I put it on the little shower mode thing, and I stood at the. In fact, in the end, I left it on there because I couldn't bother to hold it any longer. And it took about 10 minutes, if not more, until the water started to come out the bottom of the pot.
Amazing.
Yeah, and when I first filled it up, I could just move the pot like that. But when it was completely full, we'd given it a full drink. Couldn't move the pot for love nor money.
So that just tells you how good this compost is at kind of sucking up the water. It doesn't mean that your plants are going to be waterlogged.
No.
It's not going to hold on to too much water. It's just going to hold on to the water that it needs, which means that it's going to be less likely to keep drying out all the time.
Which is what I wanted, because this poor old campsis has been stop-start all summer and shocking it, whereas next year it can keep growing. The moisture will be there for it to draw on, because you've got elements holding on to the moisture, but also you've got the wood fibre that's also draining it a bit as well. So the compost will never be too wet or never too dry.
Now, if you're sitting there thinking, what are these two idiots talking about? It's compost. It's just a bit of dirt. It can't be that amazing. I completely understand where you're coming from, because I used to feel like that myself as well until I started using it, and then I realised how good it was. Once you start using it, you do really see the difference. The difference to your outside plants, your house plants, it's incredible. But if you are thinking, you two are idiots, what are you talking about? Go and just check out on our website, please. Have a little look at the Premium Professional Compost. Go to the item number 100125. There are pages and pages and pages of reviews. Those are customers. That's not us sitting there saying how amazing it is. Those are real people who've bought this compost. Our regulars often say amazing things about this. We'll never use anything else. The best results I've ever had. Gold medal product. This is the kind of results that people are receiving. So just go and have a little look at the reviews. They're always absolutely amazing. It's one of our best-selling, highest-rated products, and has been for well over a decade now. So, yeah. Don't believe us, believe the people that have actually been buying it. Let's give you a reminder, shall we? Because we've still got a few more things to show you. We've got about 35 minutes left. I am right, aren't I? About 35 minutes remaining for you. You will get a free gift with every single purchase today. It's the peony, the Sarah Bernhardt. Sarah Bernhardt was a French actress. She was renowned for her beauty. So this peony has been named absolutely perfectly, because look at those flowers. A beautiful soft pink, ruffles and ruffles of petals, and it's a free gift with every single purchase today. It comes as a bare root. Bare root season is upon us. Planting bare roots is incredible, because they're going to get nicely established, and then next year you'll get these beautiful flowers. Over the subsequent years you'll get even more of them as well. Once it gets established, you can get so many flowers on this plant. But the most important thing for you to know is it's free. All you have to do is place an order and put in the code YGTV4124. You can't just get a free gift, you have to buy something as well. But if you put the code in, that will get added into your basket. Yeah, free with purchase. So it's all about that code. That's how you get your free gift. That's how you get your savings. And we've got an amazing saving for you on the ericaceous compost. So we're saving way more than we're spending here. It's a £15 saving, $14.99, $11.99 or $10.79 if you're in that club. It's all accessed by entering that code YGTV4124. 100042 is the item number. Go to YouGarden.com to place your order, or during the week, we do have the phone lines open as well, 0844 502 0050. Yeah, it's a 60 litre bag, so a really decent amount there. Next, we've got our bark mulch. Now, really good time to get hold of this at the moment because you might be using this as a duvet for your plants. You know, those slightly frost-tender plants need a little bit of extra winter protection. Now's a great time to be putting this down, but it also just neatens it up. Look at the difference that makes instantly. It's got a real nice organic feel to it. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it looks really, really neat and tidy. Also, yeah, look at that difference. Looks so much better. If there are pesky weeds that start to pop up in your pots and things like that, this is a really good thing at trying to reduce that. I can't guarantee you'll never get any more weeds coming up, but it will dramatically reduce the amount of weeds that you get poking up through the ground and through the pots as well. So multiple uses and an amazing price. We've got a half price deal there. You are saving £14.99. It's a 70 litre bag, so it's going to cover a really big area for you. 100 061, postage is included. So if you put an order in for that and put your code in, you'll get that and your peony delivered free of charge. Into our garden ready selection now. Now this is a buy one, get one free. Oh no, these are the plug plants. Hang on a minute, we need to change. We have got the plug plants available. You need to grow those ones on a little bit. So I would suggest you probably want to go for the garden readies. We'll give you the details of those instead. 410112 is the item number. So these are ready for you to plant out in your garden. The other one you'll need to grow on a little bit. These can go straight out into your hanging baskets, into your pots. You can even put them in the ground actually, because they'll just trail gently. So in the ground, they'll create ground cover. Love the berries and cream mix because you've got a really high-end selection of purples and creams and whites together. Now then, it's a buy one, get one free. So if you want to get 20 of these, you can do. 10 of them will be free, but it is a mix and match. So maybe you want 10 of your garden ready pansies, then maybe you want 10 of the next ones, which I've forgotten what they are, but they'll be coming in any second now. 410112 is the item number for your pansy cool waves. Here we go. So if you want 10 of your garden ready hollyhocks, you can get these absolutely free with another set of our garden readies. Now hollyhocks are amazing. They can get really nice and tall. They can get good, I mean in the first year they'll probably get to a good 4 feet, maybe even 5 feet tall, but you can get them 6 feet plus. They're incredible. And the chaters are the double flowers. You get ruffles and gorgeous bright colours included in here. They'll grow pretty much anywhere. You just need to make sure you want to put them in a nice sunny spot. So you can get 10 of them or you can get 20 of them. Whatever you do, just put whichever ones you want in your basket. One pack will be absolutely free. The Aqualegia are in the mix and match deal as well, so 10 garden ready plants here. Great thing here is that these look like really tropical flowers that are going to need the sunniest spot possible, and they won't mind being in a sunny spot, but they can actually grow in a more shady spot as well, which works great in my garden because even though it's a southwest facing garden, that means my borders are in shade, because obviously the sun is shining on the house, not on the borders. So these work beautifully in my borders for that reason. Really unusual, very, weird and wonderful shape here, and very little work, just a bit of deadheading to do. Just let them die down, they'll come back for you next year as well. 410117 is the item number for that one. Or we've got the Erigeron available as the buy one, get one free, mix and match, 10 garden ready plants. You definitely need Erigeron. If you haven't got Erigeron in your garden, you do need some. Honestly, it's a fantastic plant. Flowers for, I'm going to say, a good 8 months of the year. It creates a carpet of colour as well. So each of these plug plants, these garden-ready plants, they can spread by a good probably 50 centimetres. So these are great if you want to plant them into your borders. I've got mine mixing through with my geranium roseanne. It worked beautifully in a rockery as well. But I do think that a pot of these all by themselves is also a gorgeous sight as well. They come out white, they turn these beautiful shades of pink as well. So something really interesting. And the flowers will close up at night time and open up during the daytime too. Camellia has been a very, very popular one, the Camellia Yuletide. I'm not surprised. It is the biggest time of year right now. I was saying earlier, we don't really need to discount this one because it's the perfect time of year to buy Camellia. It's just about to bud. It's going to be in flower very soon. It's called Yuletide because it's often in flower over Christmas time. Gorgeous glossy evergreen leaves on here, and then those bright red flowers with the yellow centres are incredible. A great alternative, I think, at Christmas time. Holly is beautiful, and I've got a couple of the holly standards. Love them. But this would be a great alternative. A couple of those in our infinity planters either side of the front door. That'd be the most perfect welcome over the festive period. And of course, it's a very long-lived plant. Camellias are a really long-lived perennial. It's £19.99 today, saving £15, and that one really is incredibly popular. Oh, the gardenia is the other really popular one today, and I am so pleased you're going for this. I'm definitely going to place an order for these. They are 3 9cm pots. You'll get 3 of the varieties, the Climbs Hardy, the Pinwheel, and the other one. Climbs Hardy, Pinwheel, Crown Jewel, well done, you remembered. So all 3 of them, again, gloriously evergreen, glossy leaves there. The fragrance of those flowers is to die for. I am not understating that. It is an incredible... Oh, Adam, that smell is so good. It's sweet, it's beautiful. I love it.
It's good enough.
I can't get enough of that.
I know.
I cannot get enough of that flower.
Imagine a whole, that in a pot, smothered in 20, 30 flowers at one time on a warm kind of evening or a warm spring evening. The fragrance coming in would be...
I'm getting those.
Be amazing, wouldn't it?
Please do get those. And loads of you are. Get hold of those. Oh, and we're going to one of my other favourites now. We've got the Acer collection. This is the Japanese Maple Acer collection. You're going to get all 3 of these. There's the Emerald Lace, the Orange Dream, and the beautiful Atropurpureum. The colour combinations we've put together here is just stunning, isn't it?
Well, I'm thinking I'll almost need to keep stum on this, really, because these are your plant specs.
No, you love Acers as well.
I do,
You've got loads of them, haven't you?
I do adore Acers. And I mean, you look at this little collection here. I mean, this is 3 out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different varieties and species of Japanese maple acers. And just look at the contrast between the 3 that we've got here. I mean, they've got a sort of a basic sort of palmate or hand shape, leaf shape, but I mean, look at the way the different colours are. I mean, this one is so finely dissected there with those really delicate leaves, and this one with a beautiful, beautiful red, and this with the mixture of colours as well.
It's incredible.
And this is even before their autumn colours kick in, because then they take on all different colour hues in the autumn as well. So you've got drama with foliage colour from when they come into leaf in the spring all the way through the summer, and then just when you think it couldn't get any better, they just go insane like this time of year and give you those incredible autumn colours.
I love them, honestly. I bought these as a wedding gift for my friends who got married earlier on in the year, because I just thought, you know what, that's a really nice gift. They'll have them for decades. They're really long-lived. I mean, acers can live over 100 years, can't they?
Oh, goodness me, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
As long as you look after them right. But they don't need a huge amount of care. So, well, hopefully as long as their marriage lasts, which will be forever, obviously. So... These don't require too much from you, just a couple of things. Yeah,
I mean, the thing with acers is, first of all, don't put them somewhere really windy. They don't like a really open, windy position.
That can kill them, and I have done that myself in the past. It can kill them.
And they don't want to be baked to death by really hot midday sun. So somewhere where they get a little bit of sun in the morning, sometimes where they might get a little bit of sun in the evening. But ideally, what they like is a nice, cool, dappled shade, edge of woodlandy kind of place. That's where they really thrive, where the roots stay nice and cool and moist. They're not a plant that, don't think about British tourists, going to Magaluf and running down on the beach and straight in the full sun getting roasted. That's not what these plants
they don't
want.
Like it.
These are the people on the beach that are under the umbrellas with 8 inches of sunblock on them and kind of staying nice and cool. And
they're the sensible ones.
And out of the hot sun. That's what these like. Make fantastic pot plants, great for growing in pots or containers, and they look great with ferns. And we've got some ferns coming up, actually. They're great with ferns. They would look... They would look amazing with the Yuletide camellia. They'd also look absolutely fantastic with the azaleas we've got. Nice. They'd mix and match with all those really, really well, and they'd actually look really fantastic with the gardenias.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means I can pick it up and smell it again.
Yeah, but these, three varieties in here. So you've got the Emerald Lace, you've got the Orange Dream, you've got the Atropurpureum. different colours, different foliage shapes, but just all really, really stunning plants.
Great price on there as well, £25 saving. So all three of them for under £20. They are going to drop their leaves. I'll let you know that. They are deciduous plants. So you're going to get them home and then at some point very soon, the leaves are going to drop. I just want to warn you, just in case you're like, my plants are dying. They're not. That's what they do. But get them now, get them planted, get them nicely established. You won't regret it. They are absolutely beautiful. And of course, this is where you get the amazing prices on them.
I've just one really quick thing I forgot is when you plant them, it's really, really critical to make sure the soil level is exactly the same as it is in the pot, or even plant them just slightly higher than the surrounding soil, because they have very thin bark, and if you bury that, there's a chance that the bark will rot and then that will destroy the whole plant.
There you go, very good. This is why we have expert gardeners in the potting shed to help you out. And we've got the cranberry next. Now, I haven't got a cranberry. I do a fair bit of grow your own. I'm focusing on blueberries and stuff at the moment, but I do quite like the idea of making my own cranberry sauce at Christmas.
I tell you where I like cranberries.
Where?
In juice, in a Cosmopolitan. That's one of my favourite cocktails, Cosmopolitan.
At Christmas time, I like the bacon brie and cranberry. You know, there's a certain place you can go and you can get that lovely toasty.
That's it.
The bacon brie and cranberry. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and cranberries, they're very similar to how you grow blueberries and kind of other similar plants we bought you. So they like ericaceous compost, which is good. They like somewhere quite bright and sunny. They like to be kept moist. And it's really weird how they harvest them in the wild, or not in wild, but in cultivation, because they actually sort of grow them in areas that have got sort of embankments all the way round. So, and then they have these machines that go along and they shake them all and all the berries fall off.
Oh, really?
And then they open a sluice gate and they flood the whole area.
What, to wash them through?
Yeah, and the berries just all float. They all come to the top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
and then they open a sluice gate the other end, and all the berries just go out of the water.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's so clever.
Yeah, it was like fun enough. It was on telly the other day, showing you how they, how they harvest them. But I mean, obviously, you don't need to go to that extreme in your garden.
No,
you
we can just pick them, can't we?
Yeah, but evergreen foliage on that as well, and nice flowers in the spring. And then, yeah, your own cranberries, which you, as you know, are full of vitamins, full of minerals. You've got that nice kind of sharp flavour to them, but just sort of a nice, fun fruit to grow. And if you're already growing blueberries or the pinkberry or something like that, for example, this is another sort of a nice addition.
Yeah, and do you know what? Even if you're not growing it as a grow your own, you know, something for you to use. It's a beautiful plant. Those, you know, really gorgeous colours, and they could be fruits for the birds. My mum does this. She grows stuff. She's got wild strawberries growing in her garden. She doesn't pick and eat them. She leaves them for the birds.
Yeah, they
she
look
loves
nice,
having the birds
don't
in
they?
the garden, so she grows it for those purposes.
This has almost got its foliage a bit like thyme, isn't it? It looks like sort of like thyme kind of like foliage on there, or almost like a hebe, perhaps a little tiny hebe. But yeah, it's a really nice plant. It doesn't zoom away or go mad. It's quite compact, and it even trails a little bit as well. So if you sort of put it in quite a tall pot, it'll kind of hang over the side a little bit, and you don't really need to do anything with it. Just leave it. Just let it grow away.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone, and it'll just produce cranberries each year, and just enjoy it. Easy as that.
Very good. 310047 is the item number. Oh, it's a double up deal on here, so it's £9.99 for one, but you could go for two of these. The second one will be £5 basically, or £7.50 each. Less than that if you're in the club, because obviously there will still be that 10% discount available on the double up deal. Put two in your basket though. For the double ups, you have to put two in. Enter the code, and that's where you'll see those savings come through, as well as your free gift, of course. Now we're going to move back onto another fragrant plant. I'm just going to have a little sniff of my gardenia while we talk about it. But this is the Perfume Princess. You've got this, right?
I have, yeah. But I tell you what, Bex, if that gardenia and this Daphne went in the ring together, and they were going to fight over who's the most fragrant.
Is Daphne going to win?
Do you know what? It's too close to call for me.
Is it?
Both of these I've got the most beguiling fragrance.
Wow.
I planted a Daphne Perfume Princess in my garden about 2 or 3 years ago. It was about that kind of height. Now it's that kind of height, so it's quite slow growing.
Slow growing, yeah.
But
like
eventually, I've seen them get to plants that are about 1 metre, 1.5 metres, 2 metres tall.
Okay.
But not very, very quickly. Evergreen as well, so you've got evergreen foliage all the way through. And then in winter, mine's just starting to produce really big, fat flower buds now, and probably from roundabouts Christmas time, or even sometimes a bit before, right the way through to January, February, March, it just flowers all the way through the winter, and on a mild winter's day, the fragrance is phenomenal.
Wow. Can you cut stems off and bring it in?
I do actually.
You do?
Now, I'll be honest, they don't last very long.
Okay.
But I do. I've got a little tiny little dinky vase with a little kind of throat on the top, little round, and I just cut
Like
a little
a
sprig off.
vase?
Yeah, and I just cut a little sprig off and pop it in. It lasts about 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
but
but
that one
still,
little sprig in the
the
living
house.
room, if I walk in from work, it's like, oh, what is that? And just that one little sprig of Daphne gives all that fragrance. So it's another shrub that's going to give you joy in the winter time when other things aren't flowering. So I tell you what, the Yuletide is definitely the Camellia Yuletide, and this, you've got to get both of these because they flower at a similar time, and you can just get that joy and colour. One will give you that amazing pop of red colour of the yellow stamens. The other will give you these incredible purple flowers with incredible fragrance, and they're both evergreen.
Amazing. All right, 511038 is the item number if you'd like to go for the Daphne Perfume Princess, another absolutely fragrance-filled one. Well, I'm all about the fragrance at the moment, and we've got a £10 saving on there, so nearly half-price deal, $11.69 if you are in the club as well. Now, we've got the colourful hardy fern collection coming up next. So I've turned on to ferns lately, because I've got a few shady spots in my garden, and they are tricky areas to fill, aren't they? They can be quite difficult because there's not a lot of things that will grow in that kind of shade. Some like a bit of shade, but I'm talking about the really shady spots. It's the ferns that really do well, and of course, slugs and snails don't seem to go for them at all.
They don't like them. They find them too coarse. They're they're not juicy enough.
Yeah.
So
it's not an all-you-can-eat buffet, is it?
No. It's like it's like a salad that somebody made like 3 weeks ago. And
Oh, it's got a bit wilted.
it's like, no, I don't want that now. It's
want it.
all a bit too dried out for me. So this is what these feel like to slugs and snails. So in fact, they don't really get any pests and diseases at all, really.
They don't, do they?
No, they're pretty hardy.
I
pretty
think it's
resistant.
because, so it's one of the most ancient plants, isn't it? Hundreds of millions of years. There are fossil records and things that show that ferns, obviously they've evolved a little bit, but they have been around for, I think it's over 300 million years or something ridiculous, isn't it? Or 300 million, I'm sure.
First of all, it was mosses, wasn't it? And then lichens, and then ferns were about 2 or 3 on the list.
Because they're so old, I think they've just evolved. To not have any of these pests and diseases.
Well, I mean, let's face it. If they were vulnerable to something, they wouldn't still be here.
They wouldn't have survived that long.
They've made it this far, haven't they? Because they are that tough. And this collection is really, really great because it's got those sort of 3 different types of leaf colour on here as well. And quite often with ferns, it's the brand new leaves, or croziers as they're called, that give you the most dramatic colour at the start of the season. And then as the season progresses, they start to sort of tone down a little bit. But I mean, if you thought you couldn't get colour from ferns, well, you won't in the form of flower because they don't flower, but certainly from their foliage.
Totally, and that's why this collection has been put together. It's a carefully selected collection so that you're getting the biggest range of colour. You've got those beautiful copper tones there. You've got the lovely silvery purples, and you've got the lovely greens in there as well. Plant these all together. You will get that contrast.
You will.
It's gorgeous. 3 of those 9cm pots. It's what is that? It's like a third. Yeah, it's about a third of the price of the usual price here. It's £10.97, £9.87 if you're in the club. Remember to get those £5 vouchers out. I know that there's loads of you who have just received them, so get your £5 vouchers out and start applying those because you're going to get some proper bargains. Yeah, let us know in the chat. Have you used any of your £5 vouchers today or recently, and what did you use it on? What was the saving? Well, obviously it was a £5 saving, but you know what I mean. What kind of price did you get those plants for? 560578 is the item number if you want to go for that colourful hardy fern collection. Here is the plant that I always talk about, and I know there's a few different varieties, and this one's an interesting variety, but this is the one that I say, along with a couple of others, every garden should have a ceanothus.
Well, I remember your picture. You put up a picture of one, didn't you, of a ceanothus
my mum and dad's,
last year.
It's a different variety to this one, but my mum and dad's ceanothus, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, this is Ceanothus thriciflorus repens, and it's called repens because, in theory, this is a ground cover ceanothus, but it depends where you grow it because ceanothus originate from California. And obviously in California, really, really high light levels, lots of sun. So they tend to remain more, let's get this right, prostrate.
Prostrate.
There
you go, yeah.
Prostrate, sort of ground covery. So if you plant it somewhere really bright, really sunny, and they don't mind being super dry either in this country, it'll kind of have that habit. In a slightly more shady area, it will go more
upwards.
upright and become more of an upright shrub.
Yep.
But in any case, its attributes are incredible because evergreen foliage all the year through, covered in these lovely, lovely evergreen leaves, and then the blue flowers in the spring. I mean, it's a blue you've never seen before on a flower. I mean, they're called Californian lilac. And you know, sometimes when people say, you look in catalogues or plant catalogues and people say to you, that's blue, and you think, no, it's not blue, it's purple.
Yeah.
Oh,
And everybody sees them slightly differently.
Yeah, it's like the rose blue moon. It's not blue.
It's purple.
It's purple. It's nowhere near blue. If you want true blue, you tell me that's purple. That is blue.
That's blue.
That's as blue as blue as blue. And it's such an unusual colour in the UK. In fact, it's one of the rarest colours in the plant kingdom, blue-coloured plants. But this in the spring, about sort of May, June time, oh my goodness me, it is absolutely covered in these blue flowers that are staggeringly beautiful, that last for week after week after week, adored by the pollinating insects, bees, lacewings, butterflies, moths, all those kind of things. And then what it tends to do is, it's one of these plants as well that a little later in the year, once it's had its main flowering period, it does that really weird thing, depending on what the summer does or the weather. Every so often it will send out another little few blue flowers here and there. Not as dramatic as the spring, but it certainly will throw out a bit more colour. And if you want to, it is one of these plants that you can trim down. And if you want to trim it or shape it, do it immediately after it's flowered, and then the new growth it makes will give you the flowering wood for the following year. But this is beautiful, this plant. All it asks from you, plant me somewhere hot, somewhere sunny, and give it really poor soil. That's what it loves.
There you go. 510886 is the item number. It's a really well-established one. It comes in that 2-litre pot.
Go on, Bex, whip it out.
I'm going to do it. Whip it out.
Oh,
look
come
at
on.
that. Right, you can tell I hadn't taken that one out of the pot before now, can't you? Look at the quality, the health.
Oh, you're going to do something with that, though, aren't you? What's your little...
I'm going to squeeze and tease.
I knew you was going to do that.
I do like a squeeze and tease.
You're a squeeze and teaser.
So, I mean, when it's grown like this and you can see the roots are really sort of compacted there, what I do is I give it a squeeze. What that does is it just starts to loosen away some of those roots there. And this is what you're going to do before you plant it out. Just give it a squeeze all over like this. And then what we're going to do is just tease some of those roots. Look, that one there. Instead of it growing round and round now, just by doing that and pointing it downwards, it's then going to start growing into the ground. It just encourages the roots to go in the direction you want rather than carrying on circling around the bottom of the pot. And that's really important, isn't it?
And the good thing about this time of year, Bex, as well, it will start to do that within... If you plant that on Saturday, by the following Saturday, you give it a little pull, it would already have resistance. It would have already rooted itself in because the soil is super warm now at this time of year, and the plants will love to get their roots in the ground. So that means it's established now before the winter. So next spring, all it needs to worry about is flowering. That
was a lovely earthy smell just from taking that out of the pot there. Gorgeous, gorgeous smell there. Who was that, Stu? Somebody's not used their vouchers yet? Elaine, you've got £20 worth of vouchers and you haven't used them yet. Well, I do hope you found something today to place an order and get using those vouchers. I mean, there's no hurry. You don't have to. If they've only just been issued to you, you've got a full year to be able to use them. But if you see, there's my mum and dad's one.
Look at that.
Oh, thank you, Stu. I mean, they're so proud of that. That was filmed not last year, the year before,
That is stunning.
I'll have to do another video this year, won't I? I'll have to go and visit in April time and do another video and see what it looks like now.
I think that one might be called Zanzibar because there's one that's variegated and there's not many variegated ones. That was just a knockout, isn't it?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
The blue of that. I mean, it's like a blue sky, isn't it?
And I have not done anything to that video. You know how you can put filters and things on? I have not done anything to that video. That is truly what it looked like when I did that film. So yeah, thanks, Mum, for letting me film that and show it. Hopefully she's watching this morning. Right, yes, so lots of you in the chat, so thank you very much, everybody. Loads of you are all talking, so thank you very, very much. We're going to go back over now and have a little look at... Oh, we've got the agapanthus out. Can we bring a flower each? I'm having this one now.
Yeah, because I thought... I was like,
oh, that makes me so happy.
It's nice. So my truck...
The fragrance from these gardenias.
My truck at the moment is a bit pongy inside.
Just sit that in it.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I just need to put a couple of these...
Honestly.
I just need to put a few of these. Ignore the... We're selling gardenia, not the agapanthus. Don't talk about agapanthus, we're talking about gardenias.
Look at that. I mean, so we've got the two that have got the flowers on. There is another one as well included in the collection.
There
but
is.
that fragrance, guys, honestly, that makes me so happy.
And -10. Hardy. Crazy, isn't it?
I'm getting them. They're going in my basket today. 3 9cm pots, £17.97. £12 saving on that one, and I'm definitely going to use one of my £5 vouchers. I'm going to get all of those for £11.17 because I'm in the club. I'll use the YGTV discount, and I'm going to use my £5 saving as well. Bargain.
Yes.
511 452. Agapanthus. Aga blue.
Do.
Bush pineapple, shake the tree. Aga blue.
I was always thinking of agapanthus. Rock me agapanthus.
That doesn't work.
Kind of works.
Amadeus.
Look, we're suffering from camellia intoxication.
I have no idea.
A gardenia
about
intoxication.
I'm enjoying it though.
Look at the root system on this.
That is the Agapanthus africanus blue. The chunky roots that you've got on there is incredible, isn't it?
I reckon if you tried to squeeze and tease out, it'd bite you, wouldn't it? I think you need to do that from a distance. Look at that.
It does actually like this, okay? So it does like to be kind of root bound, pot bound. It likes its roots to be hugged. So that's what helps it to flower, isn't it?
Yeah, although the
and also poor soil, because this is the mistake I've made.
Yeah,
I've
don't
put my
put them in rich soil.
Agapanthus in really rich soil and it's not flowering.
Well, you can see these are grown by a beach, so they're going to be grown in really sandy soil. So grow these somewhere really sunny, really well drained, the warmest, most sheltered position you can get in your garden. That's where they'll really thrive, and they flower for a good 6 weeks, a couple of months, and when they're really, really happy and sort of established, I wouldn't say it's an exaggeration to say you can have up to 15, 20 flower spikes.
I would not say that's an exaggeration
on
at all.
one plant.
Absolutely.
And they don't all come at once, which is a good thing. You'll get perhaps half a dozen successional, that's the word. Thanks, Stu. So it's like spherocephalum.
Spherocephalon.
Spherocephalum. Yeah, I can't get that word. But yeah, but no, I mean, these are so beautiful. In fact, there's a place when I drive home on the left-hand side, and there's a guy that has masses of these all the way along the front edge of his garden, along the edge of the path. And back in the summer, they look magnificent. And again, they're another one of those plants that is proper blue, like real blue. Not fake blue, like purple, but blue.
You're definitely losing the plot here. Right, that is in the 3 litre pot, very well established. You've got £3 off that one. Again, this is another one to use that £5 voucher on. You'll get it for £4.99. It's brilliant. Might need just a little bit of extra winter protection, but only if you're, expecting massively minus temperatures or prolonged zero, under zero temperatures. In the most part, it's going to be absolutely fine. Right, we need to go back over to our favourites table. Camellia has been super popular. I think we might have to promote the gardenias onto this table at some point as well, because those have been really popular. But certainly the camellia is in that and on that favourites table. We're going to recommend you're going to go for the gardenias and the camellia, because it's kind of the length of the flowering season that you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, really incredible because I've got this in my own garden at home. I did in one part of my garden, it didn't do very well to start with, then I moved it to another part and it has gone nuts. And I went out yesterday, and I meant to take pictures because I only went out and looked at it yesterday because I knew I was selling it today. And I've probably got 100 buds or so.
Really?
Yeah, on the one in my garden.
Wow.
Mine's about waist height, and what I like about it is just the innocent simplicity of the flowers with those yellow stamens on a winter's day, just before or after Christmas or in the early part of the new year. And it's the bravery of this plant. It's the sheer cheek and bravery of this plant in the most coldest, darkest, miserable time of the year. It says, you know what, I don't give a hoot. I'm going to open up my flowers, I'm going to give you joy, I'm going to give you some happiness, I'm going to provide a little bit of pollen for those bees that still come out on the mild days in winter, so I'll give them a little bit of a bonus, give them a little bit of a winter hit. And it's a plant that will last well, they can live for decades,
Yeah.
centuries even, camellias. It's exactly the same families we get tea from. Tea's a camellia plant, Camellia sinensis, and they just pick the young leaves out the top and dry them. That makes your morning tea. So the same family, and the quality of this plant here is phenomenal. It's well branched, it's got that deep green foliage with the nice notched edge into it, and the ones we're sending out to you have already got flower buds on. So I'm pretty confident that you will get flowers on yours this year.
And it's got a massive £15 saving. And I've said this a few times during our show today, but excuse me, this isn't a plant that we necessarily need to put a discount on. What you often find is when something's just about to come into its best, or it's it's at its best, you don't want to take anything off the price. But we actually are still doing that for you here in the Potting Shed at YGTV. £15 saving, £19.99. Make sure you use the code YGTV4124. That will give you the saving, but it will also add into your basket the amazing Sarah Bernhardt peony, that free gift that we're giving away with every single order. If you want multiples of it, here's a suggestion. You might need to get hold of some ericaceous compost, which we've got on the show. It's in a 60-litre bag, but it is postage included. So maybe you want one 60-litre bag of that. Brilliant. Put that in your basket, enter the code, you'll get your Sarah Bernhardt peony free gift included. Then you can come back and you can place an order for some other stuff, get your order to over £40, you'll get free postage and your Sarah Bernhardt peony included as well. We've got several items on the show today that like the ericaceous compost. So the camellia is one of them, the rhododendrons is another one. Cranberry is another one.
There
was another one as well, I've forgotten.
There was. The magnolia, the little magnolia could probably quite happy.
Yeah, that likes a bit of ericaceous as well.
Yeah.
No, sarcococca doesn't mind. That can go in anything.
Yeah. Not
so
worried.
there's a few items today that might need that ericaceous compost, so do stock up on that while you can. Adam's just got the Sarah Bernhardt peony bare root out of the bag for you, so you can see what you'll be receiving as your free gift. It's actually got a shoot there, a little bud coming up. That's what's going to create the first shoot coming out of the ground, isn't it?
And it doesn't look much now, but within a couple of years or so, this is going to be a multi-stem flowering peony that is going to be magnificent.
It really will be magnificent. Sarah Bernhardt is absolutely incredible. So it's a free gift with purchase, remember. So all you have to do is put the code in when you place your order, YGTV4124, and that will put your free gift into your basket. Another one you might want to get hold of at the moment is the bark mulch. Elaine, you've got enough. I'm sure you don't need any more. Elaine has placed multiple orders for this over the past few weeks, but I'm not surprised because we've got a half-price deal first of all, and because it has multiple uses.
It does, and this is also a good thing for putting around your acid-loving plants as well, because pine bark mulch tends to be quite acidic. So again, if you've got things like rhododendrons or cranberries or blueberries or things like that in the garden, you can put a nice mulch of them around the base, and that will help to keep the soil nice and acidic. But of course, it keeps the weeds down, it keeps the moisture in. If you put it between plants, you can walk between plants without getting muddy feet, for example. So yeah, multi-use of this. And as Bex has said before, if you've got something that might need a bit of winter protection, a bit of winter root protection, you can put a nice mound of this bark mulch over the top of it. That will keep the frost away, but also because it's not wet, it won't rot the plant that's underneath as well. Just protect it.
Really good. 100061 is the item number. It is got postage included. So again, like the ericaceous compost, maybe it's a way of getting multiples of your free gift. Most popular again this week is the infinity planter. Now there's just over 30 orders of this remaining. We said there was 199 left at the beginning. That means we've gone through just under half of that in our show today. So looks like there might be some available for Sunday. Fingers crossed, but I think we're going to be counting it down in the show on Sunday. It is, if Dingo decides to order some more, we're definitely going to be counting down. It is a buy one, get three absolutely free. I said you buy one and you get three free. So put one in your basket, put the code in, the other three will appear magically in your basket. But great size.
Great size, beautiful quality pots as well, because sometimes if you think you're getting something for a reduced price and you get a lot of it, you think you're going to get cheap. These aren't cheap. These are lovely. These are quality. The decoration is great. You've got the drainage holes on the bottom. You've got a little reservoir there as well, so that's going to hold on to a little bit of moisture. UV stable, frost resistant, brilliant.
Yeah, really good size, as we said. I think I'm going to get these and put the gardenias in three of them, because they're going to live in there beautifully for a couple of years. Oh, I just dribbled because it was so good. go to the website, show you an example basket. So we're going to add the gardenia collection in there. What have we got in there? We've got the ericaceous compost. Of course, we've got our infinity planters in there. You can see that we've got 3 free as well. We've added the gardenia collection in there, getting that big £12 saving. And of course, we've got our free gift included as well. Great time to join the club. Costs you £5 to join. You'll be saving 10% on every order you place for the next 12 months, because that £5 is your membership for the year. Adam, you're back next week, apparently.
Look forward to it, yep.
I'll be back on Sunday. I've got Tim with me on Sunday. Got some more plants to show you. I hope you come and join us. I hope you're getting out in the garden, enjoying a bit of the sun that's remaining at the moment. And we'll see you very soon. Make sure you're getting the gardenias in your basket as well. Bye,
Don't
everybody.
dribble.